Let's do another video here, but this video is gonna be what if Deku was a villain. Now, I know many people have done this, but I'm gonna make this Deku way different than what I would presume be everyone else. Alright, so your boy Deku has a very fucked up life. Same as it was in canon, but it's a lot more gruesome, a lot more bitter. Eventually, he gets to the point where he's like, I'm gonna say he's about 11. He's like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck this society. Hell, fuck my own mom. And then he proceeds to leave. Just walks and keeps walking. Keeps walking. And eventually, he's just in the middle of nowhere. A dark alley. And he says, this. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This will be my base of operation. And he proceeds to start making an evil lair. And I'm not joking. Dead ass. This is what happens. And so he starts, evilly making his plans and starting to go off the deep end. Which he's already off the deep end, but eventually he had basically a boiling point a lot sooner and a lot earlier. And he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna fuck with everyone. And we can say he met All Might sooner. And almost literally every interaction he had in canon around the 14 mark happened a little bit sooner. So just keep that in mind. Now, Deku's he's like grabbing all these like computers. He's grabbing like all these different stashes of food. He's stealing. Now, he has rules, of course. He wants to fuck up society, but he only hates them. He only hates them and no one else. And anyone that agrees with them or stands with them will die too. That's it. It's simple. But there are a few things throughout, a year or two, which I want to say few years, but throughout the few years of your boy Deku doing this, he meets someone that's very interesting. What was her name? Uraraka. Yes. If I met her a little sooner, things would be different, but it's too late for that. And Deku proceeds to make different technology and different bits and pieces. Now, with all this extreme amount of free time he has, and a lot of free time and being very intelligent, and also having a determination and a goal in mind, I would say his level of ingenuity would surpass like the likes of Boma and Dr. Gero. So, with this being said, Deku basically proceeds to start seeing if there's any way he can modify his body or modify his mind and basically achieve God status in such a unique fashion, in such a unique way. He wants to become better than everyone without using a quirk. But at the same time, he just says, fuck it, fuck with the rules. I follow the rules. The people that are supposed to be heroes aren't. So it's simple. Any fake heroes will die by me and me alone. And anyone that gets in my way will suffer. Very simply, as Deku talks to himself. But then, as he's basically lost in thought and eyes are baggy and kind of off the deep end, he realizes something. Ah, shit. He's like, shit, it's that time of the day again. And yeah, he runs out, tries to clean his hair a little bit, but then, yeah, he had a date. We could say he's around the 13 mark. And he had a little date with Uraraka. And him and Uraraka are talking. And she's talking about how she wants to be a hero to support her family. And Deku does make these passive marks that Uraraka doesn't fully catch on to. But she just, lets it go. And she's talking about how, like, her parents somehow just got extra money in their bank account, and they were on the phone talking about, no, this isn't ours, and it's like, no, it's been wired to you. But like, can you figure out who wired us? It must be a mistake, and this and that. And Deku's acting very surprised and like, oh wow, I can't believe that happened. It must be like someone's watching over you, Uraraka. And then Deku says certain things that are just off-putting. Only if I met you sooner, Uraraka. Only. There's only so many people like you, Uraraka. Man. Ooh, if there was more people like you, I wouldn't have to do the things I have to do. And then Uraraka changes the subject and says, hey, Deku, what have you been up to? And Deku spits out his drink in a very comedic fashion. It's like, oh, about that. We don't really need to worry about what I've been up to. I've just been working on things and thinking. That's all. Nothing you should worry about. Nothing you should worry your pretty little head over. As he, proceeds to probably pat her or something, and then they would talk and stuff like that. And Deku would tell her, like, hey, maybe you should learn how to fight. Your quirk's good and all, but you don't want to be left out empty-handed here. I made a little workout routine you could possibly do. And then she's like, okay. And then they would, stop their discussion. Now, we would go back to your boy Deku. But he walks off, thinking to himself very angrily, now, back to what I meant to do. And he proceeds to basically slowly try to become a menace to society, getting different things and different more supplies. But meanwhile, in a base, location unknown, we hear something. So meanwhile, left off in a base, this location unknown, all for one, talking with the Korogiri, like, there's been reporting news of items, tanks, Nomu, and stuff like this being taken. Have you heard anything about this Korogiri? And as he would basically say, like, no, master, I've not heard anything about this. Shigaraki would come in and basically be like, what are y'all babbling on about? There's no way anybody would be dumb enough to take anything from you all for one. And he's like, well, that statement would be true otherwise, but there's most likely an amateur. We have an idea of where they may be at, but their intelligence and supplies, basically, he would just make it seem like, your boy Deku's a beast. Like, he's like a monster, because they don't have any recollection. He's avoided all the cameras, and all they have is a picture, or like one little piece of information, so they don't know what to do about this. And meanwhile, on basically every other, like, mafia, syndicate, like, not syndicate, but like every big underground illegal business knows of this mystery person. And they're really trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is going on and why is all our shit being taken. And it's not like he's taking nothing massive or anything like that. He's recruited some of the lowlives. He's recruited some of the little higher ups, but not like nobody like big dog, top dog type shit. Just some of the people that would be very lucrative to help him do some of the grunt work to help him out a little bit. And yes, he's able to pay them somewhat, but it's not about the pay for them particularly. It's more about the camaraderie. It's almost like imagine a group of people that got beat up with their quirks for not having a quirk. It's almost like he's making a group of freaks. So if any of y'all have ever seen any type of fan-made or what if like this, it pretty much is that same type of energy. He basically provides a home for the homeless, a place for the villains to be themselves. And then he even tells them, if you join me, there will be no killing of blood unless I permit it. And he's once again, very psychotic with his nature too. He's like, we will not play these games. If you attempt to hurt anyone outside of my word, you will die. And then someone tested that nigga on that shit. Obviously. Man, who the fuck gives you the right to tell us what else to do? You don't got no quirk. Hell, you're only like 13 or 14. What makes you give... And then it's just like this, like almost like Joker like impression. He just starts laughing and The dude that spoke up stopped and kind of like got a little unsettled, but he held his ground. He's like, what? What's so funny? And then Deku, with like sheer laughter and sadisticness in his voice, you imbecile, do you really think I would come unprepared? But it's simple. How about this? If you can land one hit, I'll let you take over everything I've owned, and I'll be your personal servant. The dude with an enhancement quirk, laughing. Shit, that's all we gotta do, say less. As he swings, he is blown into millions of pieces. And Deku proceeds to turn around to the crowd and looks at everyone. And now, with that slight inconvenience and slight entertainment out of the way, do we have any more questions? And no, I didn't use a quirk to kill him neither. It's something that all of you may or may not have inside of you right in this very moment. But we won't worry about that. And then it would pan over back to Uraraka, just proceeding to do the training resume that Deku recommended. Also, we will talk very briefly about how Deku say, you know what, I got a good idea. Let me start looking up some people. And he starts recruiting people that he think would like to help him out a little bit. And one of the people he finds is a boy, Shoto Todoroki. And that's where we would leave this part off. Catch y'all niggas later. So last time we left off with Deku basically just, like at an early age, saying, fuck society, I'm about to do some shit. Eventually, after a few years have passed, give or take, so he's around 13, 14, so it's almost lining up with the canon timeline. He was doing what he was doing and shit, right? So basically what I mean by this is like timeline wise, but during this time he's made some very interesting things, and he's slowly gathering a unique army. He's actually doing a lot better than Shigaraki was able to do with canon, due to the simple fact of Deku understands what it's like, and he also has a lot of free time, and he's also very intelligent. So imagine, if any of y'all are up to date with the manga, I don't really need to tell you much. So, but for the few that aren't, what I can say though is, imagine a Deku that is mentally fucked. He's not really crazy per se, he's just determined. And all that determination and energy to be towards a hero is gone. He's like, all right, bro, this is what y'all want to do, bet. So with all this excess free time and very resourceful and very tactful, he's going to get shit done. So with this saying, he basically made a mini laboratory and shit. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. He basically made a mini laboratory. He had to kill a nigga and blow him up one time for the 2 time. He's like, yeah, all right, anybody else? All right, cool. We don't do this right here. We a family. If you don't want to be a part of the family, you can leave at any time, which most people didn't believe him, but this will play very advantageous for the future. So Deku decided to leave out. He eventually pulled up on Shoto. Late at night, we could say it was like some special hero party or something, and Shoto gotta go because his dad wants to show off his prized possession. With that being the case, Deku and a couple of his friends pull up, but he has certain people for stealth, and some of them are butlers and stuff. Some of them are butlers and shit like that. So, what he does, right, is he pulls up on Shoto, basically when Shoto's alone, because he would be alone for many reasons. And Deku would be like, hello. And before he's able to say anything, Shoto basically freezes most of his like lower tier lackeys, which they weren't really meant to fight. They're more like stealth and reconnaissance type individuals. And so what ended up happening is they pulled up, and then, Shoto froze them. He's like, no need to raise a fist, because you wouldn't want to get into all this, Shoto Todoroki. And he's like, who are you? He's like, it's simple. My name isn't needed, but you can call me Smile for simplification. As he proceeds to appear to float, because he's floating right now, he proceeds to float and move ever so closely and sit down on the balcony right in front of Shoto. It is a little chilly, so if you could disperse this ice for me. He's like, why would I do that? You know there's a whole bunch of heroes back here. I could easily just scream and shout and yell. But why would you want to do that when... Don't you want to get a slight payback for your loving father? Or maybe you're lacking information. Shoto. He's like, lacking information? What are you talking about? You don't know me. Wait, I see. You must be after my dad, and you think going after me is gonna... No, my boy. That's not the agenda at all. I'm only after you and you alone. It is simple. And then Deku would proceed to explain his initial plans and what he wants to do, just on a very light level. Tell Shoto, you can join me. Don't worry, we won't be doing nothing too heinous. We will be doing some things that would be considered unlawful, but who knows? You might want to help. And even if you do come to help for a while, you might try to gather measly information. But don't you want to kick your father's ass, Shoto? And like this would be where it's panicking and getting very psychotic kind of like vibes. And plus, you're looking at your abilities wrong. Simply put, if you want to grow stronger, I can help you. Man, scatter. Everyone scatters out. And then before Deku basically falls off the balcony, he looks at Shoto. Shoto, you can reach me at this address. If you bring anyone else besides yourself, they will die. And now that I give you a warning, if you do, the blood will be on thy's hands. Goodbye. He's like, wait, have you made your mind up already? What happens if I join you? Because my original goal was to, yes, your original goal is to be a pro hero. To outclass your father with only your mother's side of your power. I know this already, Shoto. But there's other ways of outclassing your father. Hell, you could even use me while I use you. I teach you how to fully use that quirk. And you might want to still become a hero. Think about it, Shoto. And I'm gonna probably cap a little bit or like retract some statements. I'm gonna say this happens a little bit before UA happens. So Deku probably might be like 12 or 13, not 14. And so he's like, think about it, Shoto. Think about it. As he basically just falls off the balcony. And then a few days later, Deku pulls up and basically it's like sunny as fuck, but he's wearing all black for some reason. To this day, no one knows why. And he's like, this one would be easy. I'd actually advise some of y'all to watch. Just in case you think I'm some weakling that can't defend myself. And so he proceeds to walk up. Let's just say it's an area. And he's like, hello, how are you? And then before the dude could say anything, because he sees, multiple people around him, and he's like, he proceeds to about to try to activate his quirk, but Deku chops him in the throat. I know how your ability works, buddy. As he gets real close, almost looking at him eye to eye, but like sideways, listen to me. And then he would proceed to be very psychotic and simply ask, do you want to join me? And he goes through this nigga's life almost like childhood trauma, getting bullied for a villain quirk, and he's like, yeah, it's okay. You don't gotta make your choice now. You can always make it later. Alright, we got a handful of more people I want to talk to. And this is where he would proceed to talk to different sorts of people. Dabi. And the only reason Dabi's interested is because his brother might show up. The only reason, and then he would also talk to Toga. And Toga would be like, basically she was like, yes, as long as I get to stab people, and I'm like, sure. And then he grabs her by the chin and looks her dead in the soul. But if you kill or hurt someone out of my permission, I will beat you. And she's like, that's okay, as long as I get to stab people and this and that. So she's basically just on that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And this is where we would proceed on to where everyone eventually starts to meet up. Everyone's meeting up. You see Dabi, Todoroki. Todoroki looks at him. Dabi chuckles. I guess you wouldn't remember me with all these marks on me, would you? He's like, Remember what? He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that one right now. And then Toga pulls up, Shinzo pulls up, and then Deku's just looking. Deku's actually not there just yet, but everyone's in this area, or they're about to meet up. It would be like everyone's meeting up, and you've seen everyone from their different POVs and shit. Meanwhile, Deku is fighting with Stain, but he also had this recorded. He wants his people to know that he is a very capable individual. So Stain proceeds to be like, why? What is your game? What is your game plan? Simple. I want to crush everything that upset me. It sounds like you're a child throwing a tantrum. Possibly. But it's more elegant this way. Minimum bloodshed, minimum carnage, but maximum effect. I don't really care to hurt too many people, but I have to make a point. You do not fuck with Deku Uzumaki. Not Uzumaki, but Deku, whatever, Izuku Midoriya or some shit like that. But he would blur that out. He would blur that out for, you know, the people listening. And he was like, oh, okay, interesting. Well, how about this? If you're able to beat me in a hand-to-hand combat fight, I'll join you willingly. And he says, very well then. As he takes off his robe, he's like, my fighting style is not fully refined yet, as he takes his stance, but it should be enough to take out the likes of you. Your power level is only such and such. And Stain's off-putted by this, and let me guess, judging from your stance, your weapon kit, you probably also have a blood quirk. Stain's like, oh, I get it. You got a quirk. I don't have a quirk in the slightest. This is raw dog intelligence. Observation, if you may. Trust me, I tried to make sure that wasn't my quirk. Oh, I wish I had a quirk. As he starts to emit a certain light, a certain energy, and then that's where it pans off. And that's where we end this What If That. Hope y'all niggas like it. Catch y'all niggas later. I will see y'all on the next one. What will happen? What will be the interactions between the potential recruitees? Will they leave? Are they just trying to get information? What will Shoto do? What will Shinzo do? Will Dabi tell them what really happened for those that have seen the manga? Find out on the next episode. And what is this like Deku's emitting? What is going on here? Hey guys, normally I don't just keep making videos continue. If I make, how do I word this? If I get to part 3 and I'm not really getting too much traction, I might stop the What If unless I really like it. But I do have a subscriber. I can't pronounce his name or her name. And they were very adamant about me continuing this story. So simply put, what if Deku was a villain? Part 3. We last left off with Toga, Dabi, Shinzo, and Todoroki, all meeting in an alley. And after they're getting done with the brief discussion, they see a figure appear above them, but it's like they're all in like this back alley area. And then he throws down a disc. Everyone takes a battle stance of some proportion, but before anything else happens, voila! Hologram pulls up. They see Deku, and then they see some dude with knives and shit. And the fight proceeds. Throwing hands commences. But let's pan in to Deku's POV. So you're the hero killer. As both of them are sizing one another up. Your quirk is very strong. Deku taking a stance almost reminiscing to Goku. This shall be fun. I've only been able to acquire some of these techniques quite recently. So Stain, why, let's get done with the foreplay and let's fight! Boom, boom. They both dash. Stain throws multiple knives. Deku weaves with almost nearly seeming effortlessly. God, dog. And then aims at Stain's gut. Aims at the gut. Stain weaves it, pulls out his blades, aiming for Deku's head. Deku weaves, kick Stain. Stain back slips. Man, that was nice. You almost got me. Deku grabs the blade that was about to hit him in the head. You're gonna have to try better than that, sweetheart. And then, Stain. Seems like you're pretty good, kid. Alright. How about this? Try this move on for size. Stain throws 3 blades at Deku. Deku's like, oh, we're doing this again? And then instead of throwing, he picks the blade back up that he threw originally and then just dismisses all the blades. Stain walks up straight to Deku's face and he thinks he's about to get attacked. Stain throws up a sword. Deku looks at Stain, seeing what it does. Stain looks up. Deku looks, basically Stain looks up and try to make Deku look up. Deku's like, kicks him back into the building. Come on, you think I'm some rookie? He said, yeah, a little bit. Deku, wait, what? How did I get cut? It was a tiny, one of these like little tiny blades that were left right where Deku was. Basically, he got cut on his calf. He was like, but before he could realize, Stain was already behind him, eyes beating red. Looks like I won the fight, kid. The fight commences as Deku, basically Stain and Deku are literally trying to get that blade, keep the blade from one another. Stain's trying to get it, Deku's trying to keep it away from, so they're just fighting. Good hands, good hands, good hands, good hands, good hands, good hands, good hands. Beat, 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 beat. Beat, and then Stain does some weird maneuver. He does a handstand and starts kicking. If any of y'all have ever seen Rock Lee versus that one dude when Rock Lee did the Drunken Fist, it would be something reminiscent to that. Stain does like a breakdance move almost, hitting Deku in the face and also kicking him in the face with his spiked boots. And then Deku getting, impaled back, basically gets sent flying ever so slightly. Stain grabs the blade. Deku knows what's about to happen, so he jumps. But he basically flies up. He flies up really high in the air. And then Stain's like, that won't help you. And then he pow. And you can basically see all of this happening. So Deku's on top of a building knowing he's about to be paralyzed. And then he's paralyzed. Stain. That's that good blood, Buckaruno. Stain, as he basically walks up, he starts climbing up towards Deku. So what happened to all that big talk, this, and that, this, and that, I could do all this, blah, blah, blah. As he's towering over Deku with the blade, Deku shivering in fear. And then, Stain, you lost, kid. You had some pretty good ideas, but that's all it was. I did. Stain falls over as Deku stands up. Oh, buddy. Do you really think I would be so amateur to actually let you cut me? As Deku, like, it almost looks like he's removing some of his, like, calf. Like, bro, fake. Second of all, not real blood. And even if you did, as he starts, like, peeling off certain parts of his body, as I would have told you, even if you did cut me, I inject so many different types of toxics and poisons in my body to make sure no one, and Deku's towering over Stain now at this point, to make sure, and then it's like really menacing, to make sure no one either gets my DNA, or if they do, it's too toxic for them to control. Because I'm working on some real experiments, some things that are really shake you to your core. And I need people like you, people that have grip, people that aren't scared to kill. Oh, and by the way, you would have died the second we started the fight. Stain's like, what do you mean? Here, take this. He grabs it. Basically, it's an antidote. Stain begrudgingly gets up. Like, what do you mean I would have died? Deku points up. Stain looks up and he's like, wait, what? What is that? It's basically like this weird light ball of energy. At any moment, if anything didn't go to plan, let me show you how destructive it is. Everyone that is watching this, which it's being broadcast throughout, like the underground scene and like all the evil people almost. And the motherfuckers in the alley. And then basically destroy like a 2 to 3 mile radius type shit. And he's like, so it's like, what are you? He looks at him. I'm just an old school human, for now at least. As it pans over to everyone else being shocked. By the way, Stan, you got some interesting philosophies. How about you share that with the class? Deku snaps his fingers, and then not all, but a good chunk of the newscast and stuff. So Stain starts talking about his beliefs, or we can make it more to where Deku basically questioned his beliefs, and then he would use this audio and use this, this imagery or whatever. But he'll just, instead of giving up on Stain's identity, he would just have like a smile image, like kind of how I'm doing the thumbnail. It's kind of like that. And we have a smile image, just repeating everything that, Stain is saying. So this would still have the same effect that Stain had originally a lot earlier on. And then this is where we would end the story, but I got a little more I could squeeze out. So now, with all of this being said and with all this being done, Deku basically says, come on, Stain, we got some recruits. And after some short, brief time, he basically tells everyone, come on in. And everyone meets up. So he's got like a good slew of, unique individuals here. And this is a good bit before the story actually takes place. So with these unique individuals coming through and breathing and shit, right? He's like, nice to meet you. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, he'd get all like the acquaintance out of the way. He's like, your training will begin momentarily. But I want y'all to all get outfits that would help you a little better. So I will need you to tell me your quirks and give me full details on all your capabilities. And also, if any of y'all, he's telling this like to the whole group, but he's talking to the main people, Shinzo, Todoroki, Dabi, and Toga. If any of y'all ever decide to leave me, there will be consequences. But this is not a threat nor a promise, just simple facts. I will have to take something of yours, but it won't be too drastic. But you are free to leave, and I will not harm not one hair on your head or anybody that you care for. But I will require something. One person bikes up. What do you require? Deku smiles sinisterly. Don't worry about that for now. If you never leave, you'll never have to worry about it. But enough of the fun play. Let's get into some of the serious stuff. And that's where we would leave this off. Catch y'all niggas later. Hey, yo, peeps. What's up with it? So, we're going to do a part 4 of What If Deku Was a Villain. There also most likely will be a playlist. And once I do part 5, depending on the response on this video, but if people are like commenting down dummy hard or whatever, I'll just put, I might make a part 5, but make part 1 through 4 into like a little movie. Just so everyone that's new to watching this can see them all easier. So yeah. But basically, we pretty much left off where, Deku fought Stain and they threw some quality hands. He beat Stain. And now he's basically in the process of recruiting everybody. And also to doodly note that this is right around the time he would be 14. So Bakugo would be ready to go into school, or, the USJ issue would be coming up rather pretty soon, like, all right. So this is how we're going to do this shit, right? Deku basically gets information on all these people's quirks and their capabilities and stuff like that. This Stain influence happened a lot sooner because during the fight with Stain, I didn't say this, but I'm saying it now. During the fight with Stain, Stain was talking about his philosophy and all of this stuff, and he was even doing like that killer intent thing he did. This did happen more in the middle of the fight, and since this was being broadcasted almost like everywhere, not like nowhere near like inherently where heroes were, but it's kind of like it had the similar effect that it had in canon. but the only difference is it was more concentrated to just like certain individuals. So, you know, you still got Spinner, Toga, Dabi, all these people that were, you know, doing what they were doing originally. The only difference is Deku brought them in a lot sooner. Now, with this being said, Deku's like, all right. He's like, wait a minute. He looks at Shoto, looks back at Dabi, and Dabi's just, he basically is like, hey, if you would be so kind, could you, you know, not say anything? And Deku responded accordingly. Interesting. And he's like, here, this is a suit for you. And he's like, what is this? But also, Dabi wouldn't say nothing because he saw what the kid could do. But he'd be like, he's like, what is this exactly? And he's like, well, those burnt marks wasn't from no enemy, was they? And then he says his full name. He's like, I don't know what Dabi's full name is, but, you know, he'll just say Dabi Shoto or something, like, you know, say his last name. And he'll look at him and be like, I heard about you. I got some good sources. Anyways, cracking his neck. Anyways, this suit will be perfect for you. It produces a very unique coldness, and it also injects coldness into your bloodstream. I'm not gonna bore you with the science. I'm just gonna say it, and that's what it is. All right. So basically, what it is it's gonna be a suit that makes his body cold, and this will be a manga spoiler, but oh well. If I recall correctly, I don't know if it was a theory or it's in the manga, but basically, Dabi's body is unique, right? When anybody has the power, when anybody has a certain power, their body has an immunity to it. Like if you're able to produce fire, you're not going to burn yourself. Or if your body's able to produce ice, on average, you're not going to, like, you know, freeze yourself. But with Dabi, right, his body's able to produce fires that's hotter than, you know, his father, but his body has an immunity to cold, if that makes any sense. So it would have been better if he was able to cold, you know, ice bend, right? And Dabi was like, what? Don't worry, we'll train momentarily. I'll show you that, but you're going to need to keep that suit on. And don't worry, it's never really coming off. It's almost like, I'll just say it's not really a suit per se, but it might be more of like some unique items that are placed on him. And Deku's just using that as his test run. He's like, I'm working more on the final product momentarily, but that's gonna take some time. Sorry guys, just woke up. This is gonna be more of a test placer for the time being. He goes over to Shoto and it's like, he basically makes a different type of suit. One suit that allows him to, it's a suit that allows him to regulate his temperature. So if one, you know, side gets too cold or too hot, it just enhances all his capabilities, because all he would have to do is just switch between which power he's using. And so he's like, that should do nicely. And everyone else gets suits according to their needs. Stain doesn't really need a suit per se. He just gives Stains like some minor tips and stuff. Like most of this stuff is just like everyone's getting geared up. And he told Toga, he's like, he's looking into her eyes. I'm gonna need to talk to her by herself. He looked in her eyes and just saw everything he needed to know. He was like, yeah, no. So everyone else goes around basically trying their shit, because like they're in like a testing ground, and Deku pulls Toga aside and says, follow me, sweetheart. And she's like, okay, if you try anything. Deku turns around with the most sinister look in his eyes, and like it's like he's like looking at her face, just looking at her like dead into her soul, and just said, Toga. He would say her full name, but I'm bad with names. He's like, Toga, I could easily have killed, murdered, or raped you if I wanted to. So don't think you have any power in this situation. It's either you follow me or you don't. But don't ever think you have the rights to threaten me. I've killed more people than you have in your lifetime. So try that shit again and see what happens. And when he said that, everyone felt that killer intent. Everything. Dobby was like, I don't know what happened over there. That got nothing to do with me. So they went off. Damn, I gotta look up why Mr. Marber joined. And so now we're gonna go over here, and Toga and Deku will be talking, and he'll be asking her what her life was like, and she would give a quick rundown. And he's like, "You poor child. Well, let me explain to you." And basically, Deku just helps her, like, get over her forbiddenness of being, about her quirk, which he did this with everyone throughout, this episode per se. And he's helping everyone. He even helps Todoroki. He helps Shinzo. He's helping everyone get over their crux of their quirk. He's telling them that this is natural. If you desire to be a hero one day, which I could easily make your transparencies or like what you did in the past go away, it would be simple. There's nothing wrong with your quirk. You just need to know how to use it. So he's telling everyone all of this, right? When he pulled Toga to the side, he mainly was talking to her because her story was a little more peculiar. And he's like, here. And like he cuts himself a little bit. And he's like, here. And she's like, she does that like weird sinister smile. Like, what is this? Your quirk needs blood, right? I got a couple of theories, but I'm gonna need you to hold on to some of my blood. And so basically she devours that nigga's blood maliciously. And he's like, also here, I'm gonna give you 10 vials, but I want you to save the other 5 for later when you run out of these 5, basically, right? And so here you go. And just giving her these vials and stuff. He was like, all right. And it's going to be a shorter part. My bad for the confusingness of this one. I was really just trying to think exactly where I was going to go with it. But on the next part, I will make it a wee bit better and a wee bit longer potentially. I will catch y'all guys later. And if y'all got any what if suggestions, let me know. And until then. Alright, peeps. So last part was a little bit meh. But I wanted to get that one out of the way just so I can get an idea of how I'm going to take the story. So what if Deku was a villain part 5? But now let's really get to it. Okay, so one of the things here is since Deku started a lot earlier and he also needed a lot of help, he acquired one of his strongest attributes. He abducted twice. This was when his stuff was still more in beta than what it is now, with his techniques and being able to project energy. Not like key blasters or anything like Dragon Ball Z or anything, but project energy, okay? And this is when his stuff was more in beta, due to the fact that he knew Twice wasn't going to be able to fight him. I'm not going to say, I don't know exactly when it happened, his incident, because I think that happened technically before Deku was born. But regardless or not, he'll be like, listen, if you join my cause, because I know you're not really because there's no League of Villain at the time, right? And so he's like, if you join my cause, I promise to give you something you've never had before. And then, the voices are like, not his voices, but like his multiple talking ordeal is still happening. You'll give me money? Dad, is that you? Wait, man. Hey, yo, man. I'm not into guys like that. Yeah, back up. I'm gonna hurt you. I know Kung Fu. Like he's got all these voices bugging out on the perks, right? And so he's like, how about you get to become a real one? Or rather, you realize what you are. And he's like, huh? I'll give you 3 things. I'd give you friends. Friends like no other. Second, I'll help you realize your true power. And three, as he turns his back away with his cape flying in the wind. Not like really his cape per se, but if you, whatever the thumbnail, the last part was, all right, his cape as he turns around, and I'll give you a home, a purpose. I guess my math is a little off today. And then he starts to walk off, but the choice is yours. I will not force you to join me. But just remember, that is always the case. So with that being said, he's like, fuck it. So Deku actually has been basic training with him for a while, and eventually Deku's like, yeah, this is gonna suck. He's like, yeah, come here. So basically he puts him in like a machine, not really a machine, but he like puts him in something. This is like a year ago before what's happening right now. Like he had this planned, or maybe like, it's like when you really just got his stuff set up. So if you remember in the earlier parts how he was getting his stuff set up really fast and he was doing a lot of stuff really fast, this is why. So what happened, right, is that he tells Twice, this is gonna hurt you more than it hurts me. Enjoy. So it basically just breaks all his bones in his body. And he's like, ha, ha, ha. He's screaming maliciously. Deku listening to all his screams while eating a vegan steak. Just, God. He drops over by Twice, towering over him with the red eyes, they have in the anime. Drops a senzu bean in his mouth. Eat it. You know that crunch that those senzu beans be having for no reason? Stain. I'm back at full health. Wait a minute. I didn't disappear. That means I'm not a clone. Yeah. Yes, you're not a clone. Now make 5 of you. He makes 5 of them. Y'all are all clones. And basically, Deku tells him, hey, make your clones wee bit different than you. And now those clones will keep reproducing same clones. Basically, he's just telling him to get control of his clones. He's like, here, I want you to watch a TV show. And I might edit the video just to make it very beautiful, just for like the reference. But I'm gonna want you to watch a TV show, all right? Here you go. Click. And now the music should be playing. Just briefly. And so, Twice is like, why am I watching this kid show? What's going on? And he's like, watch the show. And I mean all of it. And Deku has a sinister smile looking into the camera. Even the filler. And then walks away. That's all your life will be contained of for right now. And then eventually after Twice watches that, this is how Deku got a lot of his stuff a lot faster, which he used Twice to recruit a lot of people, since Twice literally can be in multiple places at once. And Twice made it to where he had like a little system of people. Like there's like one person that delivers messages back and forth while other people go on like running and stuff. And Deku, since Deku was able to do some interesting things, he was able to make sure Twice had different outfits for all these different, clones and stuff. And that would be how Twice eventually became. Compress was, I don't know Compress's story. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I know what he is in the manga, but I don't know how he joined the League of Villains. So we're just gonna say that he was at a magical act and Deku recruited him like a little bit before he fought Stain. And he was like, yeah, I likes that. That's useful. We can borrow a lot of stuff without returning it. You gonna be the new homie. And so, he's like, and then Deku's like, if you don't believe me, let me show you a magic trick. And he's like, if the magic trick impresses you, you join me. If not, I'll aid you in whatever quest you desire. And he's like, Very well. And so what ended up happening is Deku says, Abra Kendabra. And he snaps his fingers. And then they teleport to like basically a fucking barren island. And he's like, oh, impressive. You almost had me fooled there for a second, but I'm not stupid. I know you have a teleportation quirk. Of course, that's the only way you would be able to do that. He's like, he throws a paper at him, and it's his official file. And let's say it has to have like a certain stamp that can't be replicated. And he's like, quirk where? Let me show you some more. As he starts to like basically project ki and like irradiate a massive amount of power and fly and move at high speeds. I mean, don't get me wrong. He touched down. He was hiding it. He was facing away, hiding it. But damn, he was bleeding. He was bleeding a little bit, and he was exhausted. This is also, he's still in beta with a lot of his stuffs, and he's only able to experiment on himself. So he's kind of struggling, okay? And it's more like he was able to use twice his ability for him to have multiple doctors of himself. You get what I'm saying? But it wasn't like he didn't have no help. It was only what he knew. So he was struggling, okay? Simply put. Anyways, that's how he learned got compressed. We already know how he got Spinner, because Spinner was with the OG League of Villains. They don't have Quarter-Giri for obvious reasons, okay? So, now with this being said, everyone was training due to the last part. Stain basically got a damn villain villain school, goddamn, I can't say hero. A villain academia. So everyone's, doing that, and that's gonna be a thing Deku actually has. Like, it's gonna be like a legit official school of villains. But he's just starting the beta off. Note, everything is beta here, okay? No pun intended. So with this being said, and being the point in case, he's basically training everybody. He's got, Stain as the main teacher, the main role model, and then we're gonna make a character here, which is gonna be because Stain deals with weapons and hand-to-hand combat, while another teacher, we're gonna make her name is Lavi. Her name is gonna be Lavi. And she's going to be an associate of Deku's that known him for quite a while, okay? And she's going to basically just be, helping people with their quirks, helping them understand their quirks. And it's almost like she's just there helping them with the actual combat powers of the quirks. Then we're going to make another character called, I'm trying to think of a name off top. We got Lavi, we got... What's an anime name that still sounds cute? Jasmine. And we got Jasmine Lee. Fuck it. We got Jasmine, and she's gonna be more of the counselor. Which Deku mainly helps like with the main people, but he's not gonna be able to help with every single body, and plus he's not stupid. Once you start getting big and up in, ranks or whatever, you're gonna need to delegate a lot of these different tasks. So we got your boy Stain with the fights. We got Lavi with the combat. And we got Jasmine Lee with the counseling and psychologicalness. And the reason she works so good with this is because her quirk allows her to enter the minds of other people, willingly or forcefully. But forcefully, if their will's stronger, she's not going to be able to do it. And so, with that being said, everyone's able to work through their traumas and actually become more relatively peaceful. And it's a lot of order and structure here because he's telling people how their days are going to operate. And then let's just say like a few weeks pass after like this initial set of everyone's getting used to. Everyone, some are more of the grunts, but they're like, hey, what's the point of us being here? I mean, don't get me wrong, we get free food and all this, but when we gonna steal? When we gonna kill? All this shit. Where Deku at? Where he at? And he's laughing. He's laughing, but he hasn't like laughed out loud. And he starts walking. He's cracking his neck a little bit. Who's making up all this ruckus this early? And then Toga's like, Deku, you do know it's like three in the afternoon, right? Yeah. as I said, who's making all this goddamn? And it's not like he's serious, but he's not like not serious. Exactly. So he basically just kind of flies down, and he like just touches down. And he's like, "What's the issue here?" And he's like, "Well, when are we gonna do villain shit? When are we gonna go out there, be about that life?" Like he just sounds stupid. No pun intended, because it sounds black. But like but he's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, my bad." He snaps fingers. Doors open. A door opens up. There, go for it. But just know, if you get caught, immense killing intent. If you get caught, don't think you'll be able to. Don't think, basically saying like, don't think I'm gonna come save you or hold your hand. He's like, huh? Most of y'all are practically useless. And he's like, there's only a handful of y'all that hold value. But at the same time, just because I don't inherently value every single one of y'all doesn't mean y'all don't have importance. Society has, and then this is where the great speech comes in. Everyone's like, at all. Because like he has like a decently sized group of people. It's more quality over quantity, but he still has a good amount of quantity. And he's like basically talking to them. He's like, society has rejected y'all just like it's rejected me. Do you think I would be so foolish to be like, yes, society has rejected y'all. Let me send you right back out to the place just so you can get beaten by a hero. You're not even one of the strongest one here. Yes, you can take care of a few civilians. You'll do that and then what? Get some measly money? And then he starts getting like angrily distorted. Like it's just so distorted on the way that he's like talking because it's like so confusing. And he's like, what? You want money? He starts like throwing money at him. What? What? You want money? There. And he's just like screaming, you want females? I can take you to a place. What is it? What do you want? What do you want? And like he's just screaming, just like yelling. It's like a like really like awkwardly intense scene. And he's just like, everything's like not really shaking, but like the camera angle, and it's just all like everything's going everywhere, and it's just like, what's going on? What do you want? What do you really want? I just want to get payback for all those people that look down on me. And Deku adjusts his suit back, or his outfit. Exactly. And he proceeds to, he touched ground when he was yelling, and he's flying back up. Exactly. You don't really care about inherently killing people, but you won't be able to get payback. None of you, except a few of you. He looks kind of over at Shoto, Todoroki, Shinzo, and Toga. Not every single one of you would be able to get payback. But, simply put, he puts up a screen. I did the liberties of taking care of some things on my own time. Now, everyone knew what he really meant, but what he ended up saying was, I saw some people that were getting on my nerves when I was patrolling my area, and everyone knows this is way far out of like his range since they've been with him for like about, a couple of weeks. And so what ended up happening, right, is he basically was saying like he got interrupted by some people and he had to kill them and torture them or some like wilding ass shit, right? But what ended up really happening is he basically fucked up most of like the lower tier motherfucker, the villains, the people that tormented them throughout their life. Most of them got the work, like, and I'm talking about the people that really made their life hell, okay? And so Deku was just like, yeah, they were kind of in my way. And everyone looked at each other and was like, oh, he really does care. Like that's all they said. They didn't say it out loud. They just kind of like, oh, okay. Like he never made it to a point to where he's like, yeah, I don't care about y'all. But like he's not just openly like, nigga, I'm giving y'all free food, a place to stay. Just wait. And he was like, exactly. They got in my way. I just had to make them confess to some things. And then they relived the torture like no other. What torture is the worst torture? There's many answers. And then people were like, God, gouge out eyes or, cut off their fingernails. Tickle their... Don't finish that sentence. And so He's like, no, none of those are real. The worst torture one can endure is the torture that they place themselves in, or a torture that they have inflicted onto others, because you can't stop it and you're fully aware of what you're doing. So imagine if someone was to torture a quirkless loser, a weakling, an insect, and then they were able to experience that exact same torture to the T, but also keeping their self-awareness that they are themselves. Wouldn't that be interesting? If they truly don't feel any regret or remorse, the torture wouldn't work. But if they know deep down that what they did was wrong, and they were persuaded to do wrong things, then the torture would be too much for them. And with that being said, isn't it an irony that they all died due to this? It's beautiful, isn't it? They practically killed themselves even after confessing. It's interesting. But tell me something. For any of you that want to kill just for killing sakes, and any of you that want to just do bad for bad sakes, I don't agree with you. People started to get visibly scared. Oh no, I don't disagree with you neither. I do need killers for when it's time to kill, but why would I make y'all do something if we're not fully prepared? Plus, there is nothing to do. Before I assembled all of you here, I took care of most of the hard labor. Plus, to be fair, I already have an army at my disposal. Everyone's confused. Like, what does he mean he has an army at his disposal? Where are they at? Because I've only seen these guys, Toga says. I've only seen these guys. Spinner. Yeah, what are we going to do? Are we going to, make Stain's dream realize? Stain's dream is irrelevant. There is more effective and more efficient ways to do things. Y'all are impatient. But fine. I'll give y'all something and show y'all something. And he pulls up on the screen 3 pictures. This is just one of the examples. We have All Might, the symbol of hope, with a weakness. We have One for All, the symbol of villainy. And we have this dude over here named Overhaul. They're all big heads in the underground scene. They're all people I need to take down, but I can't do it in the wrong order. So, we'll focus our attention on these 2. Overhaul and the Liberation Army. They are, how would you say, very strong. But not strong for me in a sense. It's more of the fact that they're strong for us as a unit. I'm strong plenty. I'm almost done getting out the beta. And once I'm done with the kinks here, I'd be able to fully upgrade you, Toga, and Dabi, Shinzo, Todoroki. And then we'll really start the mission of becoming the greatest organization to be founded. Or Villain League, or whatever you will call. And simply put, our names will be Smile. And that's where we would end the video. See, I made up for that last part, so we chilling. Stop complaining. Alright, so for anyone that isn't fully caught up, we're going to do a small recap. So basically, Deku said, fuck society, I'm going to become the realest nigga out here. Out on these streets, nigga. I'm going to do this shit, right? So what your boy Deku does is, he gets everyone together. He's got, alright, if you haven't seen it, just watch the videos. This recap kind of stupid. But anyways, so basically, your boy Deku's like, alright. he tells everybody what's the game plan, and Toga pipes up and she's like, okay, so what's gonna be the order, Deku? Then you said if we don't do it in the right order, you know, Twice is over there, his trauma's a lot less, so he's not doing that personality shit nearly as much. But he's like, yeah, what's gonna be the right order, boss man? He's like, don't worry, I got you. Yeah. Simple. We're gonna go visit somebody. Visit who? Now, you remember the void I showed y'all the other day, right? Which, if I didn't say it in part 5, which I believe I have, but we're basically around the time that, you know, Deku would be in UA, so some more time would have passed if I didn't say this. And USJ, USJ's about to happen, but it's a few days off. Anyways, so Deku comes through, right? And he figures out this information. Don't ask how he did it. He had to do some things he's proud of. And so your boy Deku's like, yeah, free real estate. He's like, the list I showed you is quite simple. There was one more person I left off. He basically puts like a name on the table, which, you know, pretty much everyone's in the proximity. And, you know, almost everyone's pretty much included in this conversation, even though he's just talking to the main people in this group. And they're like, what's this about? Simple. This is, and then he would say Shigaraki, but he would say his actual full name. He's actually, I don't know if he would tell them like his origins, but he would just tell them like, you know, his full name and shit like that, right? So with that, they'll be like, okay, so what makes him special? Simple. He's the disciple of One for All. And everyone's like, huh? Huh? And with that being said, and being, you know, that being the case and shit, everyone's like, okay, what? Are we just Spinner? I think Spinner would pipe up on this point. So what? We're just gonna run up to him and try to fuck, you know, basically fight one of the, you know, disciples of the strongest villains or whatever, some shit like that. Damn. Basically, Spinner's like, we're gonna really pull up to him? He's literally the disciple. It's like, well, he's inexperienced. He might be the disciple, but he lacks maturity. As Deku smiles sinisterly, nearly chuckling as he says this, he's like, he's not nearly as cunning as I am. His quirk is quite interesting, but simply put, he doesn't have enough battle power. You're like, wait, why does it matter if he has battle power? You can't build a society without some destruction. He'll be a pawn in the grand scheme of things, but I have to be very, very patient. Because if I fuck the order up if I fuck this order up, I'll be like the snake in the egg. And everyone is very confused on what he means by that. It's like simple. The snake waited for the egg to hatch. Then he realized that the hawk wasn't big enough. So the snake allowed the hawk to grow and grow. But the snake waited too long, and then the hawk grew. And it became the prey instead of the hunter. So if I do this perfectly, I'll be able to get both of what I want. Something that nourishes me fully, but yet, no. He would say basically I would get, you know, the both of both worlds. I would get something that fills me, but nothing that would kill me. Don't worry about the details. I'm constantly ironing that out. As he starts to emit like a dark, radiant, red, blackish aura. I'm almost there. But we do need to test out some of my gear. And he also talks to the lackeys, or just, you know, those side characters. And so he's like, hey guys, your quirks or your capabilities aren't nearly as strong. So I'll have y'all running like, you know, errands and stuff for me. If you get caught, all you need to do is, it'd be like an emergency fest. If that doesn't work, then you would have to kill yourself. If you could do that, I'd greatly appreciate it. What they don't know, but you as the audience will know it. No, I'll actually keep that a secret because it'll be more interesting that way. So anyways, Dabi, no. Toga, let's see here. I'm trying to get everyone together. So Deku, obviously, Toga, Dabi, and anyone else, and maybe Stain, just knowing that someone's trying to kill All Might. So those you know, people head out with a couple of other people. They're heading out on the main mission, while everyone else is doing, you know, side missions and shit like that, right? So now let's flash in on the hero side of things. Everyone's pumped. They're like, yeah, we're gonna do so much training. Bakugo's yelling as always, blah blah blah, right? And so with all this commotion and, you know, screaming going on about, we literally have USJ happening just like it did originally. And Kodagiri pulls up and he's about to teleport everyone, right? But then you just see like basically a person with a smile mask on, that's Deku, and a tuxedo. But you see, he does like a semblance, right? Because he's like the combination of All Might and All for One. He wears a tuxedo and stuff, right? Like All for One, but he has the US colors and stuff, like damn it, I think y'all get what I mean. My brain just died on me for some reason. So he's up. There we go. So he's basically like a hybrid of All Might and All for One, combining both of their attributes in the sense of. So he pops through, or maybe, I don't know. I don't think he would have bright colors. It'd probably be a darker shade. Fuck that. So he's got a black and red suit on, and he pulls up. He basically pimp smacks Kodagiri. I don't think you should touch your hands on the people that are gonna save society in the near future. And everyone's like, what? What's going on? He's like, Azawa, your quirk is, you're basically, he'll just do his whole profile. You're a racer head, right? And everyone's like, you know, confused and shit like that. As everyone like peeps through and stuff and sees that, you know, the smile, they'll have the same symbol as his mask. And they'll realize that his people are taking care of all the villains and shit. So Azal would be very weary because he could tell off rip that this dude is, or this kid or this person is strong. Okay? And so he's like very confused. He's like, so with this scarf, so are you friend or foe? He's like, that's none of your concern. Just be glad I'm not gonna kill you upon this day. He's like, oh, you think you can kill me? Deku appears behind him. Yes, and trust me, you'll figure out that I did you a really good favor. We'll keep those eyes of yours protected. Phew! And basically teleports behind him and then just backhands him with like his fist closed right into the stomach, sending him into the wall. And then he's basically just got one-shotted nearly. And Deku's like, damn, that took a little, ooh, I probably shouldn't have used that much force. I need him to be conscious, but not just, he basically needed him to be up, but, you know, not like that. And so what ended up happening is he looked at everyone else and said, interesting. Yeah, y'all seem like some mighty fine people. So, tell me what your quirks are and I won't kill you. In Bakugo, I don't advise you to do that. He takes off his mask, right? And he shows who he is. And Bakugo's like, wait, what? It's you? That's impossible. And then as he's saying that's impossible, he basically he's about to shoot Bakugo away, right? But Kirishima comes in and blocks it. And he's like, fuck it. Boosh. Alright, kiddies. And then you see like Deku's face revealed and Uraraka is traumatized, bro. Like, she is shaking to her core, alright? She's like, no, there's no way. And gravity just starts to shake. Everything starts to rumble. And she's like, interesting. You're going to be a problem. I'll just teleport you away quickly. And then so he basically tries to teleport her away, but her gravity is way too strong. And he's like, shit, this is going to be more of a problem. Fuck. He's like, well, shit. He starts thinking about it. He's like, I could do that. He starts powering up a little bit and he starts knocking everybody away. Basically, he does like the My Hero version of Conqueror's Haki, but he does it on such a scale that it knocks out pretty much almost everybody of weak will. I'm gonna say that probably Todoroki would have been able to slip. No, Todoroki's with them. Fuck what I mean. Basically everyone gets knocked out except Bakugo. Kirishima basically gets knocked out, and Uraraka's too mad to get knocked out, right? He's like, whew. Ida's trying to run away. He's like, ah, shit. Oh, fuck, I forgot about that guy. He's kind of upset. He's like, damn, I really believed oh, damn, this is a problem. While Uraraka's mad and Bakugo's like, what the fuck's going on? Right? But then you see a knife hit this nigga Ida. He's like, ah, shit, I gotta go. So he's trying to, like, you know, straggle on and keep it moving, right? Todoroki come through with the ice. Freezes that nigga. And then as Todoroki's walking up, he basically melts this dude. Damn, pause, guys. He basically melts this dude's pipes or exhaustions, right? And then he just punches that nigga and makes that nigga sleep, right? And that, no, we're not gonna end it off right there. Then after that happens, Bakugo is like just kind of confused looking at him, and Uraraka's like, I thought you was a really good person. How could you? Boom. Has like a wave of gush, and Deku's sensing a strong presence. He's like, damn, I don't got time for this right now. I don't think I'm strong enough to beat him. He looked at Bakugo, but he was actually looking at what was coming, but that's about to come, right? And he's like, ah, shit, this is gonna be a problem. My timing's a little off. And he's actually more upset than anything because he's like, damn, I can't believe I miscalculated this far. Because he didn't expect Uraraka. One, he knew she was stronger than what she was, but he didn't expect her training to, you know, yield this much results and her quirk awakening to a higher level to be this strong. So he's like, I'm gonna be able to take her down, but I might be damaged in the process. Fine, be it. So you just see Deku basically taking off like his tuxedo and start taking off his shirt, and then like he takes off like his pants, but they're basically like shorts. And he's like, okay. He starts stretching a little bit. Uraraka, listen to me, love. Listen to me. He takes a stance. We don't have to fight. Everyone's knocked out, so the only people, y'all might know what I look like, but do me a favor, keep this all a secret. Because if people find out who I am, they would have to die. As he says it with a very, you know, deadpan expression. Your mom, your parents, as he looks at both of them. I don't want to have to do that, but I will. Okay? Yo. We got another what if coming. All right, listen. Shit. Part 7. I haven't even uploaded the other part at the time of making the video. But, as I said, this one's going to be action-packed. So this one might be a little bit longer just because I want to get all this shit going. All right, so Uraraka, Deku fighting, right? Deku upset, right? He's like, damn, my calculation's off, bro. He was bugged, but like Uraraka's like, nah, I'm gonna smack some sense into you. So he overcalculated that shit, right? He really thought he was that guy, but he was not at that moment. Anyways, these niggas start fighting, bro. And I shit you not. No. I'm gonna retcon one tiny thing. Deku doesn't take his suit off. It'll make sense in a moment. They proceed to start throwing these ungodly hands, and this is reminiscent to like Jiren and fucking Jiren and Goku fighting in Tournament of Power, right? They're fighting all over USJ right now, right? Uraraka's just flying up in the air, bro. Boo. I can't believe this. Like, she is heated, bro. You were a villain this whole time? Boom. Let me guess, you're the... Like she started piecing things together, like all the unsettling things Deku's been saying. If y'all remember that part, depending on when y'all are seeing this. Just like some of the slight things that were just questionable, but just not questionable enough. How her parents magically got money, how they apparently got contracts, and how everything just started working. And the more she talked about the problems, the more they went away. And just, she's so mad because like she actually trusted him, and she can't believe like it's kind of like that, right? So like she's heated as hell, right? Mad, fury, angry and shit, right? So she's all the Percocet right now, bro. And they throwing some hands, my boy. Toga, looking up, is visibly a little like jealous and angry, like a lot of emotions. You know, Dobby and these other motherfuckers that are doing there, like, Dobby would hit that whistle, hold up. He'd be like, as he's just seeing the fight. So, the Smile and not really the League of Villains, but the League of Villains and their side characters, and then Sugar Rocky, that nigga heat, bro. All right, he mad, he's scratching deviously, nigga, blood and shit. He's like, no, this isn't supposed to be happening this way. Who are you? What type of boss are you? No, I'm here for All Might. I'm here for All Might. And then Kodagiri's like, calm down, Sugar Rocky. We have a backup plan. It's all good. Just calm down. And he's like, no, I need to destroy. Hold up. So Sugar Rocky's like, I need to destroy these bastards. I don't have time for side characters. And he's just like bugging out. But we'll cut off his combo for like 3 seconds, right? Him and Uraraka are throwing like these intense hands and shockwave. Boom! Deku gets knocked back. Boom, 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 boom. Hits the fucking pavement, bro. This nigga's skidding on water, right? He bow, 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 bow. Uraraka right flying up on that nigga's neck knee. Just and she not just throwing these random punches neither. You remember when Deku gave her a training regime, right? And like he was teaching, like he basically gave her some like basics, right? But the basics were a little bit more than basics, and she also took some classes that were just magically free. So she's not just throwing regular hands, okay? She's throwing this quality smoke, my boy. So she bam, bam, bam. On top of her not being affected by gravity, on top of her controlling gravity. Yeah. There's a lot going on here, and your boy's Deku's kind of upset. Like he's not necessarily on the back foot neither, but enough of dialogue. Let's just get back to the raw action, okay? So what ended up happening, right? Boom, boom. She's chasing Deku, and then Deku tries to like fly away, but she like basically hits that nigga down to the ground, bro. He boom, not down to the ground, but down to the water, and may just send that nigga flying, bro. And she started compressing air. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And the Toga's like, oh no. And let's just say that like as this like collision of like shockwaves and of them like fighting just bring people closer together, Toga's like in the middle with the students of UA, right? And they're like, hey, we got bigger problems to fry. Everyone's confused. I remember Deku talking about this. She might say like his code name or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But she's like, I remember Deku talking about something like this. It didn't really make sense, but as I'm thinking about it, he was talking about a girl that could, control gravity or could manipulate gravity. And he was talking about one of the potential future applications of if you can control gravity, that means you can control a lot of things. And if you compress air, you can make a shockwave that... And as like sweat drops from her brow, you could create a shockwave that could break the sound barrier. And everyone's shocked, like, what? Well, I say the students, but everyone's pretty much knocked out, so it's literally just Bakugo hearing this, all right? So anyways, right, as this is happening, and they're like, that would be a very concerning problem, as this is Dobby saying this shit. But I think we have another issue here. And the second he says that, all you hear is and Shigaraki in the background. Kill them, Nomu. Kill them all. They must pay for interfering with my plans of killing All Might. And then that Nomu starts boxing these niggas. But like, it's really just them getting pooped on. But Bakugo, he's about to get hit, but Toga's like, get out of the way, blonde. Drop kicks that nigga and she takes a big hit or whatever, right? And then, as this is all happening, Uraraka's in the back row. Boo! Boo, boo, boo. So she's just shooting like a lot of compressed air at Deku right now. Ah, son of a bitch. He boom, boom. He said, all right, enough of this. Basically, he does a Gallic gun. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. But he's like, Gallic gun. Boom. I can't think of another name for a move. I probably would call it something else. But I'm gonna just go with Galagun because it just seems fitting for some reason. So he's charging that shit and just boom, sends that blast up. Uraraka basically gets sent back up all the way up to the ceiling. She starts like touching things around her. Like, well, she's not even touching, she's waving her hand. And since she hit, she's like, oh, all right, bet, release. And boom, just like a rainstorm. And Deku's like, fuck, fuck, fuck. And so basically, he's like walking on water and kind of like flying at the same time. So he's like, fuck, 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 fuck. He's like, you know what, fuck this. He like starts charging up and he just screams, release. Boom, a massive wave of energy releases, basically just spurring all the water. And the second he does that, Uraraka's like, let's get payback for that sneak attack earlier. And Deku's like, ah, shit. And I mean, when I say he got punched, no. He got punched so damn hard that you saw her imprint on his fucking back of her knuckles, nigga. Like, it was that bad of a punch. And he's like, oh, fuck. Ow. Why? Why? Okay. All right. Okay. She's like, I don't think so. And then she like basically uses her gravity and like sends that nigga flying. And I mean flying all the way to the other fucking side. He just boom. I'll say he like knocks into spinner, but if they're not like Dabi or Togo or maybe compress, I might not, or twice. Which I think, I don't know what I said I did for that nigga, but I might not have him there because if he's there, it's gonna be a lot easier of a match. I digress. So what ended up happening is that I actually lost my train of thought. That's crazy. But alright, what ended up happening is Deku gets hit, he hits someone or whatever while they're fighting the Nomu. Deku doesn't have time to realize because he's dealing with an enraged Uraraka, right? So he's like, ah, shit. So he's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna have to risk it. So he starts powering up basically. And he's just like, so he starts powering up. And he's like, ha, boom. You just see this nigga glowing like a, like reddish glow, like a reddish black kind of like glow, almost like some all for one quirk type shit. So he's like, and then like he takes like a unique fighting stance and boom, charges out. He's like, I gotta end this now. New technique. And he's just literally like all out assault. Boom. So he basically just starts dogging on her real quick. Boom. Boom. So basically what he did there was he hit her a couple times, kicked her down, or like swiped her down, teleported damn near, not literally, but damn near teleported. As she was coming down at high speeds, he closes his right or left hand and just boom, backshander, boom, boom, bitch hits the ground, back hurted, everything. Deku, boom, stomps on her neck knee, weaves her, gets up, hit that nigga with a Gudata combo. So they just start throwing hands for like a good brief second, and he's not having it. He's like, all right, yeah, we not doing this shit. He's like, all out one-handed explosion. Boom. And I mean, boom, like, it was a massive ass explosion. Uraraka about to grab this nigga, bro. She like grabs his sleeve. That nigga retracts back so quick. He's like, nah, you're gonna have to miss me with that one. Rips that sleeve off and then just hit her with one good punch. Realizes she's up, does a backflip into like a double leg sweep, or like instead of just doing like a kick with one leg, he does like a backflip, hitting her with both heels of his feet, and boom, good night. Blood and everything and shit. He's like, God damn, that shit wasn't cool. That was not fun in the slightest. He's just like, damn. Now, his tuxedo and all that shit is battle damage out of the wazoo. He's like, God damn. He looking around like shit. He's seeing some of his troops and soldiers being fucking beat on or beat down. He's seeing Dobby fucking nearly burnt himself. He sees Toga just suffering, and he's like, God damn. Bakugo's just like, he's like, God damn. He's like, that thing, and Deku's walking up to him, basically heading over to him, and he's like, God damn, I gotta fight this nigga. And so he looks over at Bakugo. Want to throw some hands for the good old times? Or like he's like, you want to take care of this beast like the good old times? Which there is gonna be possibly like another part of this where they briefly had a, you know, fight against somebody. Worry about that in the future though. So what ended up happening is Bakugo, like, he was, you know, scared at first, but then after hearing that, I think we're gonna have to do this dude like we did that June or high school or some shit like that or whatever, right? And Bakugo was like, yeah, you're right. Basically, they like tag team. So it's on some Sasuke and Naruto first meeting up after they get their power boost on some shit, right? Bakugo comes in, he's like raring to go. He's like, come on, think about it, Kacha. As Deku takes off his suit, and like he takes off like the bottom part and the top part. As Bakugo is ready, Deku's slightly battle damage, Bakugo's ready to go. He's like, think about it. This isn't just a threat to me or you. It's a threat to all of us. And he's like, shut up. And then they basically take their fighting stance. That's where we'll leave this part off. Catch y'all later. All right, we're gonna skip the intro pretty fast here and just say part 8, I think, of what if Deku was a villain. All right, pretty much left off where Bakugo and Deku was about to say, "Oh, let's get it, let's go. We a real one." All right. So what ended up happening, right, is Deku and Bakugo had to fight the Nomu. So they basically was like, all right, here we go. Boom, boom. They set off. They're basically doing like some tag team combos on the low. They boom. Nomu, he's like, Bakugo, be careful. The Nomu basically has shock absorption. So they just start throwing combos at this nigga. Bakugo's throwing explosions. Die, 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 die. And Deku's like, final explosion. Boom. Delu barrage. Boom, 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 boom. Trying to fight this nigga, something devious, I'm telling you, all right? And so they basically just doing their hardest. Bakugo gets back pinned. Boom, boom, hit the ground, backs up, boom, blow, explosion, hit, comes back, headbutts him. Nigga gets swiped away. Deku coming in with these Sanji-like combos. Beat, 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 good hands, good legs, beat, beat, Nomu just sitting there having fun. Yeah. Everybody start throwing hands. And Shigaraki's like, yes, kill them all. And Bakugo and Deku looking at each other like, damn, you got an idea? He's like, all right, nerd, what are you thinking? I know you're thinking. I don't know if you would still call him a nerd because they didn't interact for that long. But I think Bakugo would be like, I know you're thinking of something. You're always scheming or something like that. So come on, what's the game plan? Do you think you can hold him off for a bit? And Bakugo's like, what do you mean? He's like, here, I'll give you a little help. Basically throws like a light fireball at him. And basically, it's not even a fireball. It basically heats his whole body up, like near burning. He's like, I don't know how that's going to help, but he's like, with all this, I won't need your help. And I mean, when you hear like a giant ass explosion, that's an understatement. You hear like this shock wave, all right? Like this shock wave of an explosion. And it's just like, boom. Bakugo going at this nigga. Boom, boom. And I mean, when I say he's hitting this nigga with these heavy ass explosions, he boom, 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 boom. AP shot. Boom. Go that. Boom, boom. He does that even, he even does that. And the reason I say this, that he does the AP shot right, it's for the simple fact that I think he would have been training more because he probably would have had some light refraction on the shit that he did put Deku through for that brief time that they knew each other, even though they grew up together. Anyways, he would be like, he would have probably been training a lot more harder than he did originally. So he's like, boom, hitting this nigga with all sorts of explosions, weaving and bobbing and ducking, boom, boom, boom. He's just holding this nigga off. While Deku's thinking like, damn, what can I do to beat this nigga? What can I do to beat this nigga? He's thinking like that nigga regenerated when we damn near had him on the verge of death. Come on, think. There's gotta be something in my arsenal. Wait, that's it. Deku takes his stance. He's like, why did I not think about this sooner? Uraraka might be the reason we win this fight. Denki, Dama. Everybody feels a brief presence, and he's like, no, Mu, don't let that kid do whatever he's trying to do. Bakugo sends like a giant ass explosion at Shigaraki. Shigaraki blocks, Kodagiri protects him. The Nomu basically is about to go after Deku, or try to, and then Bakugo just appears right in front of his face. Bird for brains. I'm your opponent today. Boom, 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 boom. Or, and I think he would say some shit like that, and then they would proceed with this like fight, and Bakugo would realize that he's woefully underprepared for this, because after he releases one of his gauntlets, that nigga eats that shit like a fresh pack of Skittles, bro, on a fucking Pride Day, nigga. He refreshing, nigga, and just start beating on Bakugo something devious. He is just getting thrashed, all right? Bakugo on the ground, linking something devious, okay? And Bakugo's like, shit, I'm not that guy today. And so he's like, Bakugo just like, he's down on the ground. And he's like, and then before, you know, the Nomu deals the final blow, Deku just grabs that Nomu by the fucking wrist and rips it off. And he just looks at him. He's like, don't worry, Kacha. I'll take care of this burden. And basically just throws the hand up in the air, just incinerates it, bro. Like dead ass. Everyone's shocked. Well, not everyone. Everyone that's conscious. The other niggas are knocked the fuck out, okay? And he goes like, I'll take care of this vermin. And so the Nomu regenerates the arm. He starts talking shit. I mean, like, the best of Nomu can talk shit, alright? He's like, bitch, I'm superior. You're not that guy I am. Like he was talking as much shit as he could talk, alright? And so, boom, Nomu charged at Deku. Deku weave with his hand behind his back, bro. Weave. Boom, hit that nigga with a kick. Hit that nigga with another kick. Hit that nigga with a light 1-2. Hit that nigga with an elbow. Hit that nigga with a spinning elbow. Nigga, beat. Looking at this nigga. He cool walking it too on that nigga too. Like, damn, nigga. You pretty weak, cuz. Nomu shook a bit. That Nomu don't know how to feel. He like, what going on? He's like, oh, you didn't know? All out assault. He said, assault. Boom. Starts blitzing that nigga. Hit that nigga with some, what you would call it, Ultra Instinct Goku flow. Nigga hit that nigga behind that nigga. That nigga looked at that nigga, says, be gone. Boom. That nigga, that Nomu is gone, nigga. Deku got to keep the act up, knowing he's low on energy. Looks over at Shigaraki. I'm gonna enjoy this. And Shigaraki's like, what? He's like, I'll destroy you. I'll get rid of you. No problem. He's like, oh, for real? Oh, word? Please bits that nigga. He doesn't even bother fighting Shigaraki. He smacked Kodagiri. He don't knock him out. He just smacks him back a little bit. And then he looks at Shigaraki. Shigaraki grabs him. Ha! It's all over. You might not know this, brat, but my quirk is decay, and I can decay anything. You know, all that bullshit, right? Deku looks at him, turns around. Bro, if you really thought I was some type of rookie, you're mistaken. He grabs that nigga hand like they holding hands on some shit, bro, and breaks that nigga hand deviously, okay? He just that nigga Shigaraki. He's crying, bro. He's sobbing. Then he start getting demonic with that shit. Start breaking that nigga other hand's fingers, bro. He's like, oh, Oh, you just thought you were that guy, didn't you? And starts beating on Sugar Rocky, something unholy, bro. When this shit was animated, that shit would have to be censored out, and all you would hear is good hands, big hands, big, and all you hear is bones cracking and death. All right, death and fucking incarnated, my boy. Breaking ankles and fucking shins, bro. This nigga Sugar Rocky's getting pooped on something devious. He's just getting dogged on, bro. Deku said, oh, I'm enjoying myself right now. Oh, I don't care if I die, but oh, this was worth it. For everything I built up to, oh, this is nice. Oh, yeah. I needed that. You just hear this nigga, I needed that. Sugar Rocky over there leaking something sad, bro. And then Kodagira eventually is like, yeah, we gotta get the fuck out of here. But Deku's just like, nah, bro, hang tight, hero's coming. Smack that nigga again. Picks up Bakugo, picks up Uraraka. Basically, he makes it look like these niggas like were standing up, or like they fought off these monsters, and right. Like he did some like tinkering. He called Twice a part of the Twice community. Really. And basically they answered the hotline, and he was able to summon some of those niggas over there. Twice came through, captured all, you know, the actual villains, air quote, okay, and basically have them all like restrained. Sugar Rocky and Kodagira will get out. I can't have that shit in too fast, okay? Or do they? And so they get out, or no, I mean, that's undisclosed. But anyway, so that happens. So they make it look like Uraraka and Bakugo saved and protect everyone. He even fought a Nomu off. All Might's pulling up, everyone else dips, and Deku puts his mask, he basically puts his mask on, and just slowly he's like about to fade away, and he's like, hey, Bakugo. And Bakugo and Uraraka barely on consciousness, bro. They're fading in and out. He goes to Bakugo, says, hey, keep that training up, bro. You're almost strong. You'll probably never be as strong as me, but that's undetermined. We haven't had a chance to fight recently. Uraraka? He's like, it's weird because like it's out of character, in character, like he's all awkward and nervous. Like, look, I'm kind of like, my bad, like I probably should have like have a good day, or how's that airplane food? Like, that nigga was awkward, but basically he was just trying to say like, catch you later, like my bad, sweetheart. My bad, like niggas sobbing, okay? So anyways, that happened, and then Deku leaves out, and then, you know, All Might and them pull up, and Sugar Rocky was able to get away. They realized that it was, and let's just say Deku left the notes explaining what happened, but I don't know. The minor details, I can always retcon some shit later. I'm God here. So we have that shit happen, and then that's pretty much where this would leave off. All Might comes, sees that Bakugo and Uraraka are like somehow standing, right? While all these other motherfuckers are just kneeled out, KO'd and shit. But we'll talk about it on the next part. Catch y'all niggas later. So I'm actually glad, because my most viewed story thus so far is what if Deku was a villain, which I'm gonna keep that going there because I like the story and everyone's liking it after me pumping out content of that video. I would hope people like it, but anyways, I digress, right? So we pretty much left off where Deku made it seem like Bakugo and Uraraka took down most of the villains, made it look like some people had explosion marks, some people had concussions. I mean, he didn't do shit. It was your boy Twice hooking them up, because like Twice got over his trauma, so he was able to have like a whole like community of people, okay? So now we got to deal with the aftermath, and let's go ahead and deal with one for all aftermath first, because I think that would be the most critical one. So Sugar Rocky's upset. He crying. He basically crying, like crying for real, but not for real, okay? He's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This insect. Yeah. Like, he's bugging out about that shit for like a good little bit, okay? And One for All is like, this wasn't in my calculations. Or basically he'll look at Shigaraki and just be like, well, if this breaks Shigaraki's will, he wasn't meant to be my successor in the first place. Maybe I need to go have a little chat with this Deku fellow, okay? And that's pretty much it. Like, there's not really much more, because this Shigaraki is going to be a lot different than the other Shigaraki that we know in canon, because he had people, he was a leader, but he's kind of like solo. He's just like a lone man with like grunts. He doesn't have any main characters or side main characters, if that makes any sense, with them, right? Since, you know, your boy Deku kind of slurped them all up. Pause. Okay. So Shigaraki's like, nah, fuck that shit. He started meditating. He started looking up shit. He basically started training a lot earlier on than he did in canon. He's like, fuck all this shit. He asked All For One to, you know, get some people. He's training now. And All For One's actually quite pleased, because he's like, I might not. He sees like this rage, this fire, like this desire to destroy a lot stronger. So Shigaraki starts meditating and elevating his conscious state and all this other bullshit, okay? Like, he's like, no, we not doing that. And what ended up happening, which we won't go into big detail right now, but what ended up happening is Shigaraki remembers some things. He starts having memories about his past, okay? It's spoiler warning for the people that haven't seen the manga, but most of the time y'all didn't care when I asked in the past. But he starts remembering, like, you know, when he was younger and stuff like that. But we'll come back to that, okay? Because I might have to add some fan-made characters to this ordeal, because I don't know. I don't think Shigaraki should be completely alone, but we'll find out momentarily. Now let's talk about the heroes, okay? The heroes basically wrap up the villains and take them to jail and try to pry information out of them and try to like get like, hey, who's this? What's going on? How did y'all get here? Blah, blah, blah. And with this being pretty much the point and case, they really don't get Jock Swit. And then they ask Bakugo and Uraraka, and this whole interaction would literally be kind of like Bakugo would be either coming out or Uraraka would be coming out, and they both would look at each other and they kind of would say it almost at the same time, like, how do you know Uzuku? And then Bakugo would be like, how do you know that damn nerd? Or some shit like that. And then they both would basically talk about it. Uraraka met him by chance and he was helping her out with her problems, little did she know. And then she's like, I guess I got bad taste in man or something. And then Bakugo would pipe up and actually say something nice once. And he'd be like, no, you don't have bad taste in man. Despite what he's doing, he could have literally came in and killed us all. We're gonna have a brief flashback to when Deku had like bombs and other things in place. And since Bakugo was least damaged out of the three, he was able to look around and realize that there was an army of twice, right? So if Deku really wanted to, he could have literally just sent in these armies of twice to fuck everyone up. And then the twices could have kept making more copies. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand how broken Twice is. But at least Hawks did. Joke for the people that read the manga. Hawks definitely knew. But enough on that. We need to talk about Bakugo saying this shit. And he's like, nah. He's up to something. Plus, if you think about it, he could have easily killed all of us if he really wanted to. And I think we should probably keep this between me and you for the time being. Uraraka's like, why? At first I want to say she would be like, what do you mean? But I think she'll be like, yeah, I think that's a good idea, because I gotta say something to him. And I kind of lost my temper the last time we talked. And Bakugo's like, no shit, you were blowing the damn place to the ground. Hell, if it wasn't, I saw your fucking fight all the way from where I was at. And then they're literally just talking about that. So Bakugo, Uraraka kind of trying to keep it on the hush hush. But unbeknownst to them, Natsu, or the principal, he can hear. Let's just say he hears, or he's really smart. He knows what's going on. So he calls them to his office and he tells Eraserhead to leave. And he's like, do y'all have something y'all want to explain to me? And they basically literally just talk about like Deku and like all that shit. Now the reason they're gonna talk to him is because he might have threatened them with like exposure or something to that effect if they don't start talking now. And so Natsu's like, oh, okay, cool beans. And I feel like he would be a real one, and he'll be like, so what you're saying is you don't think he's actually the main problem here? No, because when he came through the portal, Bakugo probably be saying this, so he'd be like, no, I don't think so. Because when he came through that portal, he was talking about, let's make sure these heroes don't die. And he kept emphasizing on protecting us. And there was one time he was over here about to, one of his sidekicks was about to kill Roundface here. And he made it a very strong point to do no killing on the hero's part. And then he refrained from saying the villain's a free game. Something around this margin, due to the simple fact is they're basically making a justified point to keep Deku around and not hurt him, okay? And Natsu's like, interesting. So what you're saying is, And then they're both kind of like slightly nervous, but Bakugo's keeping like a semi-cool expression, but you can see he's nervous. Uraraka's sweating bullets though. And he's like, all right, cool beans, keep this between us. No one else must know, not even your closest friends. I don't know why I think he talks like that, but that's how he talks, okay? So with that being said, the class would basically have their week prior, you know, week little vacation and shit. And Bakugo and Uraraka would start training. And Uraraka would start helping Bakugo use his quirk a little more effectively. And then she would be like, hey, I need to open something. And Bakugo's like, what, Roundface? It's like, we're in the middle of training, can it wait? And she's like, no, this is something Deku left us. And she's like, wait, what? No, I mean, he's like, wait, what? Let me see. You should have told me this sooner. Or, you know, some Bakugo-esque like type shit, okay? Now they open it and a digital hologram pops up. He's like, hey, y'all. Yeah, if you're seeing this, I'm probably dead. Wait, no, hold up. Wrong message. Okay, listen. I'm pretty sure Bakugo and Uraraka is seeing this. If anyone else is seeing this, like red laser projects outwards, make sure there's only 2 visible bodies. Ah, good. Okay, cool. Gotta make sure no one else is hearing this. All right, you're probably wondering, what am I doing? Why am I like this? Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. By the next time you see me, I'll be so much more stronger than you. I can easily beat Bakugo with one hand. Bakugo goes off and just starts shooting explosions. He's like, that damn nerd thinks he can take me. Ah, boo, 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 boo. He got lucky. Oh, the next time we see him, he's dead. You hear me? He's dead. Uraraka keeps listening. All right, now that Bakugo is properly, you know, warmed up or motivated. Hello, Uraraka. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of sorry I didn't tell you, but it really never came up into the conversation. Yes, I've been helping your parents. Yes, I've been making sure everything's good. And I probably threatened both of y'all. I didn't mean it, but I kind of needed my secret to be safe. But I'm pretty sure you already told the principal. And he was kind of cool with it. And everyone's like, not really everyone. Uraraka's kind of confused. She's like, how the hell does he know this? Like it's on some Saw level kind of like precognition type shit. You know? It's like, what the fuck is this nigga? Right? But he's like, it's just only so many probabilities and outcome that could be really extracted from the given situation. And given that the personality report, and since he starts going on and on and on, and Uraraka eventually gets confused, and Deku's like, it's simple. There's only so many things that could possibly happen. Now for you probably activated your quirk to a higher level more than I was anticipating. Sadly, female emotion is very interesting. And if that is the case, you need to figure out a way to tap into this form or power at will. If you're able to do that, you'll be able to keep up with me. And he's like, because the next threat, oh, the next issue may be worse. As I'm thinking about this, because as I am now, my consciousness and calculabilities, basically his ability to calculate probabilities and outcomes are increased dramatically. So he's like, at this given moment, I'm not going to remember too much of this, and there'll be no point in me looking at it because it's going to mess up my given parameters. But I digress. The main thing here is you're going to need to be strong for what comes up next. And I'm fading. And I'm fading. Yep, it's almost gone. I don't even remember what I was saying. Well, simply put, and then you hear twice in the background, yo, boss, it's time to go, 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 go. You hear Toga, I'm ready to stab him, stabby, stabby. What did I tell y'all guys as like the video thing slowly starts to cut off? What did I tell you, Toga? No stabby, but deku-chan, no. You're a kick. And Dobby in the background like, if y'all gonna make up already. Shut up, Dobby. What are you gonna do? Kill me? Maybe? And then it like pans out. And that would be where we end part 9 of What If Deku Was a Villain. What if Deku was a villain part 10? We deal with everybody else's aftermath, but we didn't deal with Deku. Deku, for you, okay, since the USJ happened, that means there's a week, right? And I gotta retcon some just in case I didn't do it in the previous part, which I didn't feel like trying to skim through it to see if I did or didn't do it. But long story short, I'm gonna say Deku did heal up All Might prior to him becoming like what he is now. Maybe a little bit in the earlier years after doing some light research. He probably like found All Might one day, don't ask where he lived, but found him somehow and then injected him with something to restore his power. So he still pertains one for all, and he's also gonna stay in his prime a lot longer, all right? Bear with me here, that needed to be said for what may or may not come up next, okay? So now we have it to where Deku he's not angry because he anticipated, you know, it being a hard fight, but he's readjusting or reactivating his calculation and putting all the stuff in place, and eventually he goes through his surgery. And as I told you prior, but this dude is on some Android Dr. Gero type flow. So he's readjusting his overall fit and readjusting his overall calculation and increasing his power level accordingly, okay? Due to the fact that he was able to fight the Nomu, he has a rough estimate about how strong All Might is, but then if he gives the room for error, he's gonna recalibrate that even further and also increase his overall raw power while also trying to increase his main technique. Due to the fact that he was also able to copy and research or gather data on everything that transpired, he eventually got to the point where he was like, all right, cool beans. We in this bitch, boys. We in this bitch. So after what, maybe a day or two, Deku is fully, powered back up, right? He's in this bitch and he's feeling like really amazing, okay? And he's like, oh yeah. So he goes out for a bit and starts training a little bit just to see how strong he is. And this is where Deku makes his debut. Right now it means nothing, but for the future of what may or may not happen, it means the world, okay? So, long story short, Deku's outside and he walks out in an open area and he's like, that's impossible. I make sure to not be tracked because he wants to get like a damn slushie or a fucking Starbucks drink. He wants to get something simple. All for one. So you, Izuku Midoriya, haven't been called by that name in years. Who goes there? And he actually steps back a little bit like, wait, what? How is he here? But he keeps his persona or his bluff up. All for one. Looky. It's bright daylight and you dare step against me as he flares up a little bit of his power. All for one smile turns into like a smug, not a smug, but like a expression of slight disgust and distaste. You really think you can tangle with me, boy? I need to put you down so my successor, you mean the person you plan to rob their body? All for one actually visibly shocked. Impressive. I don't know how you acquired this information. I haven't told nobody. Well, I've told a few people. Ha! I am Deku. I am the one that's gonna rule. Please, gaining light information like that is simple. After I get enough data on someone, I can easily process it and make many projections. Oh, so it's a quirk, I see. Interesting. I would love to possess such power. Deku starts laughing, reminiscent of Vegeta. A quirk? Bitch, I'm quirkless. As he shoots a ki blast at this nigga. Poof! But he aims the ki blast in such a way to where it won't kill nobody. Boom! Blast gets shot up. Reports of All For One. All Might's out on duty. He doesn't have a time limit, so he's patrolling. He pops in real quick. Deku actually gets blown back by All Might entry because he's not expecting it. All For One and All Might starts duking. Deku realizing that he needs to do something about it, which Deku didn't have a mask on, but now he does. He puts his mask on. And then he starts, ejecting everybody and starts teleporting everybody to a different location. He has something reminiscent to transmission, but instead of using his energy, he's using their energy. But we're not going to minor on this detail, but the main point here is simply put, he's getting most of the people out of the way. As they begin the fight, it starts being broadcast. Oh, All Might is fighting this unknown assailant. In a black suit. What is going on here? Look, they're going blow for blow. Is this the myth? All For One? Or something like that. I feel like some people would know who it is. Or some information would have researched somewhere, okay? As this is happening, Deku's like, this is better than I calculated. Ha! Ha! He starts releasing his ki and let it explode. Poof! He blasts up. Poof! And as they're throwing hands or whatever, let's just say there's something for All Might to stand on while All For One and Deku are flying. They're all three looking at each other. And All Might, it's like, wait, is this the kid? Is this the... I don't know how to do... All Might! I don't know how to do his voice. I tried to... I can't find it. But basically, All Might's like, wait, is this the kid that Bakugo and Uraraka was telling me about? All For One's laughing. Oh, do you think you can tango with two gods? Please! I'm a god slayer! Ha! Poof! He looks at All Might, kicks him, poof! Dashes towards All For One, teleports behind him, boo boo! And everyone's like, wait, there's a kid and he plans to fight All For One and All Might. We'll just say he's known because I feel like some people would know about him. Anyways, so they all start duking it out. It's a free-for-all, nigga. Call of Duty flow, nigga. They start throwing quality smoke, bro. And this becomes like this epic clash because there's times that All For One is jumping up with Deku, vice versa, All Might, and like everyone's getting beat on. Boo, 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 boo. Deku does get knocked back a lot during this fight. Oh, this is tough. If I was gonna extend this part and make side parts, I would make a not really because I don't like the idea. But there's times that All Might's like, please help me take down this threat. All For One, help me take out my most threatened, my most annoying opponent, and we can rule the world together. Deku declines both of these offers. He said, please, by the end of this life, no. It'd be some shit like, but in a few years' time, if not sooner, I'll be the one that rules this society. Pooh. Everybody's throwing hands. Good hands. Boo, 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 boom. Deku's fighting both these niggas at the same time. Boo, boo, boo. He's not keeping up in the sense of like where he could beat up on these niggas, right? But he's keeping up just enough to where he's able to throw hands with them, if that makes sense. But when they both start realizing that he's the threat, he's an issue, they start jumping this nigga. Boo, 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 boo. And all For One's making a smart remark, to think my most hated opponent or my most like adversary or something would be an ally one day. I guess the saying a friend of an enemy of an enemy is your friend is wrong. It's your enemy that's your friend. All Might's like, shut up. Please. And then All Might, it's like, he's just a kid. I don't know. The way you were punching, I think you'll think he's an adversary. Deku pulls up on both of them and continues to fight. Everyone's throwing quality hands. Boo, 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 boo. This fight started getting intense because both of them are just like, all right, he's a threat for real, because he was going for killing blows, which he really wasn't. He was just desperate and started going for some shit. But they perceived that as killing blows, so they really just start jumping this nigga. So Deku was getting his shit rocked. But he's staying in the fight long enough, and you keep hearing him say these Kaioshin or Kaioken or something like that. And he keeps it, and you see like this red aura emerge. He, boom! Like, boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. I might have miscalculated a little bit. As like both of these like powerful figures are standing you know, against Deku. Okay. Fuck it though. He lets his power roar. He's like, this is my debut. This is the day that'll mark poof in history. He starts changing his stances, gathering all the energy around him, and start throwing good hits. This now goes back to a free-for-all, because he increased his power just enough, or got, you know, just enough. And so it goes back to a free-for-all where everyone's just fighting for themselves. And like a lot of destruction's happening. And Deku's throwing a lot of blasts. All Might throwing a hell of Texas Smash. This is an All Might that's at full power. Not like he was in canon, right? So, with that being said, there's a lot more destruction. There's a lot more pain. There's a lot more shit going down. Like this shit's like a like two titans fighting, and then you got a third titan that's on the upcoming. And so just a lot of shit is happening. Everybody starts getting like dummy tired. But they all still fighting because they all have strong ass wills, right? So they keep fighting. Boom, boom. And eventually, you know how I said they kept going back and forth on who fight who? Eventually they both start hitting on Deku. Cause they were going for each other. Then like, it's like not really spoken rule. They're just doing it. So they both start fighting Deku. Deku takes it. Flips, whoop, readjusts. And meanwhile, really far away, you hear very faint noises of explosions. And you hear a really, really fast flying noise. And then, voila. Anyways, with that side thing out of the way, Deku starts getting dogged on worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Deku eventually sends a transmission to one of his twice communities, and then they all report to it. Meanwhile, Deku is in the between of both of these dudes. He shoots like multiple ki blasts, and then he shoots like one really strong one as he's screaming to the top of his lungs. And then he sends them back, and he's like, All for One stands up with his, you know, suit damaged. All Might gets up with his suit damage. Okay. Well, we take him out. It's back to me and you. Poof. It's not even the fact that All Might wants to fight him, but he realizes this kid's like, you know, strong as fuck, okay? He can't hold any punches. And then boom, 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 Deku just starts getting dogged on something devious also. No, let him get up, But the difference is they don't let this nigga get up, bro. They start beating on this nigga. Boom, 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 boom. It's like a hot potato, but with their fist in their legs, nigga. All for One just using all these quirks this nigga had, bro. He been, I want to use this one too, this one. Oh, can't forget about this one. Oh, let me hit him with one of these. Like, these niggas hitting this devious team combo on this nigga on some Brawlhalla type shit, my boy. Anyways, after that shit happened, these niggas basically just keep dogging on your boy, right? He's standing strong, but he's like, damn, I miscalculated. His mask starts to crack some more, and he sees where the cameras are at, and he realizes he can't hide from them no longer. And then at that moment, and Deku's like sitting there sobbing like, damn, I really miscalculated. He's not really crying. He's just like, I miscalculated and shit, right? So he takes that stance. He looks at the camera and realizes this is the end. As his mask slowly cracks, but he's like, I'm not going out like no bitch. Arc. And he projects out a mass amount of ki, aiming it at both of them. And a whole bunch of tiny ki balls start to form around All For One and All Might, and then he starts shooting. But they're strong enough to where they keep pushing, but the bombs keep exploding, and the tiny ki droplets just and they're both by Deku, and he's like, well, time to do this move I've been training for. Here I go. He takes his stance, and then he realizes that the earth around him got blown up too as they kept getting closer. He missteps, and at that moment, Deku knew he was dead. He said, damn, I really fucked up. Well, this match will go down in history, but not in the good kind. But in that moment, I mean that nanosecond that, you know, they was about to get hit, a speeding bullet with two people. One gets tossed up in the air a little bit higher, and all you hear is release. Another one's going at fucking incredible speeds, and as he's passing by, you see him turn around and move his gauntlet a weird way and shoots back All For One. Pooh! All you hear is, die, villain! Boom! As he turns around, he grabs Deku as Deku is slipping but not losing consciousness completely. And then you also have All Might and a girl, petite, round face, says, sorry about this, All Might. Touches All Might and then says, levitation. All Might goes, fuck it. Basically, we can say he goes the opposite direction, or he goes the up in opposite direction. It doesn't really matter, but they both get scattered. And I mean scattered dummy far, okay? And then as this is all happening, this all happened insanely fucking quick, okay? So as that happened, right, Deku gets grabbed by Bakugo, and Bakugo grabs Uraraka with the other arm, and then they keep basically going off, because Uraraka now is in control of the flying, because Bakugo's using way too many explosions. He was already using way too much as it is, but now he was using way too much explosions, and they eventually fly off to like an area, but they did it at such high speeds that most of the cameras can't see, and also, since the explosion was so big, it had a big dust particle, and then they flew off. They eventually touch down in like a desolate area or whatever, and Bakugo's on the ground a little bit sobbing. He's, fuck, that hurt. Whew. Uraraka's not feeling too nauseous because she eventually been and overcompensated for that weakness. But she is feeling a little queasy, but nothing too fancy. And then as Deku stands, as his mask begins to fully break, him with blood all over his face. Shit, I miscalculated again. Oh, fuck, okay. I was off. I forgot to pay attention to the ground. Man. As he begins to, starts to try to walk away, both Bakugo and Uraraka kicks him back down and puts him against a rock, I guess. Bakugo, well, his legs kind of screws, but he kicks Deku back down while Uraraka says, gravity control, and then holds Deku down. He's like, ah, shit. As he begins to look up to them and realizing that it's Bakugo and Uraraka, he's like, ah, shit, it's you bastards. Ah, fuck you. I didn't come to kill me because y'all could have let me die there. Which in retrospect, Deku really wasn't going to die. All that would have happened is he would have missed the move, slipped and faded. Like he would have slipped and fell. They would have actually hit each other, and then they would have knocked out each other while Deku starts beating on their unconscious body and flies away. Or some shit like that. But I digress. And then Uraraka Bakugo was like, we're gonna need some answers. Yeah, start talking, you damn nerd. And that's where I would leave this part off. Pardon the wind, peeps, but maybe y'all don't hear it as bad as I do. But alright, so we gonna continue this shit off, right? So Deku, wait, what if Deku was the villain part 11, if I'm not mistaken? So basically, we're leaving this baddie off right when Bakugo and Uraraka was like, yeah, we need answers, right? Bakugo start yelling and shit. Uraraku's like, I don't have time for this. When she's in like her gravity control form, she kind of like is a little more, I I don't know, not like a cheat sheet per se, but she's just more of a, not a dominatrix, but more of a just a overwhelming presence, more benevolent, if that makes any sense, okay? Anyway, so she's like, I have no time for this Bakugo, and she sends Bakugo flying, and she sends him flying and basically puts him in a gravity control. Not strong enough to hurt him, but strong enough to keep him on the ground, so he's not a nuisance to no one. And then she goes back to Deku. I heard a dog, I got scared. And she basically goes back to Deku and was like, alright, I need some explaining. And she's basically asking for that nigga to give her some answers like, what was you doing while you were villain? All the generic shit, you know, you would expect somebody to want to know. Deku's like, well, simply put, and then Deku begins to tell Uraraka his backstory. And if I remember correctly, I think I made it worse where he got bullied, like deviously bullied, right? So, like, even worse than he did in canon. This is what made him snap a lot earlier on, and, you know, kind of fast forward a lot of shit. And Uraraka's like, oh, and then she's like, this makes more sense, because now she understands why Bakugo is so desperate to help, because he is the main cause of this. Like, he is one of the biggest causes of this. That's why Bakugo wants to fix this, especially after the USJ attack, blah blah blah, right? Uraraka releases her grip. What is your plan? What do you mean? What is your plan? Deku has a sinister grin on his face. He pounces on, well, this sounds naughty. He pounces on Uraraka, basically having like a key, or a knife, key blast, whatever you want to call it. But he basically has something. They're gonna let me go. And he basically pounces on her, you fool, you should never. And he eventually tackles her down with a knife straight to her neck. He's like, dumbass, now I get to kill you. He was bluffing, like, be careful. He's like, all right, time to end this. And Uraraka looks at him. If you were gonna kill me, you could have been and killed me. Especially if you're able to keep up with All Might and whoever that assailant or whoever that other guy was. Seems like he was equal, if not stronger, to All Might. So if you were really planning on ending me, you could have did it when you were giving me all that advice and stuff. He puts the knife down. All right, you got me. He's laughing. He's like, yeah, but nah. I'm just gonna fuck everything up, simply put. There's no reason a world in where superpowers, but he says quirks, but a world where quirks and people literally can shoot explosions from their palms, that an average person can't live a happy life without being bullied and tormented. The society has a big hypocrite. Well, as a friend of mine says, Uraraka looks slightly surprised. Don't look at me like that. I have friends. And as a friend always says, he does have valid points. He's a little on the extreme side. But simply put, it's more of the simple fact that, how do I word this? Heroes are hypocrites. They can beat up and kill people as long as they say it to the name of justice. But when a villain does it, or when someone else does it without a hero's license, they're considered a villain. I can save 100 billion people, but since I don't have my hero license, I'm a vigilante. That's the biggest hypocrite ever. Uraraka starts to slightly like scream and shout a little bit, but not like dramatically. She's like, but no, that's not the right way. What is the right way then? Huh? You tell me. What is the most poetic means of taking a society down that is based around power? With power. Not power just alone. No. Once I crash and crush society down to its very fiber, all the allies that was going to originally be heroes that I have, I'm going to help them. And simply put, I'm going to rebuild this society where people can use their quirks freely without judgment. Yes, it may take some years for people to acclimate to this new lifestyle. Yes, it may take a while for all of this shit to fully work, okay? But if we're being realistic, And if we're being honest, a world where everyone can coexist peacefully, and there's people that are specialized for training, there's gonna be villains no matter what we do. But if we at least make this world more accepting of people with their different quirks. Hell, a good portion of my friends, he don't even call them followers. A good portion of my friends are people with mutation quirks or blood quirks, you know? Quirks that aren't frowned upon. Hell, I think, I even had another recruit back when I just was starting out. His quirk is a wonderful quirk. It's a brainwashing quirk. He gets you to speak. Once you speak, it's over. You're under his control. You know how useful that could be for interrogations? Or how useful that would be for resolving an issue peacefully, especially if no one knows what your quirk is? But no, it's brainwashing, so it's bad. That's idiotic and stupid. As Uraraka sees Deku's passion. To be fair, I've killed a handful of people. I'm not proud of it. But at the same time, I'm not scared to get my hands dirty a little bit. But in retrospect, I would prefer to go without killing as long as possible. And if I do fail in my endeavors, like as you said, I could have been and killed all of you growing up wannabe heroes. But to be fair, that would be idiotic. On the off chance there's a variable I'm miscounting for, and y'all do seem to fade from existence and pass, or basically he's saying if he dies, I'm gonna need at least some type of beacon, because I know some battle. I know a battle's coming up that's gonna be tougher than most for me, and that's what I'm really fearful of. As he starts to shiver a little bit. But that's pretty much explaining everything. And Bakugo over there, regardless of his hot head, he's not stupid by far. I just kind of troll with him a little bit here, just for the simple fact that it's funny. He did all of this, and he's not even going to be #1 hero. You can't be a #1 hero when you resolve the whole system that was put in place. But that's simply put, Uraraka. You got any more questions? Uraraka stands firm, then let me join you. Deku, actually visibly confused and kind of scared. Like, wait, what? Wait, what? Let me join you. If what you're saying is right, then I'm on the wrong side. He would go more in detail about the hypocrites and contradictions, but for time's sake. Uraraka's like, well, if I'm on the wrong side, then hell. You just teaching me and telling me minor things I do isn't improved my quirk. You helping that my family has done justice. USJ, you could have killed us. With that power you got recently, you could have literally just killed everyone at the school if you desired to. Deku, a little confused. Never thought somebody would join willingly without me saying them, but he's like, that's not how this works here. Why not? Listen, as I just said, I need a contingency plan, and she's pointing to Bakugo. And then Uraraka's like, well, if that's a simple case, I want to see what this is all about. He's like, why would I even bother bringing you with me? I'm pretty sure most likely you convinced the principal that I'm a decent person, or at least don't try to pursue me too hardly. So what's your motive? Simply put, I'll judge if you're good or not. If you're not, I'll take you down. What makes you think you can take me down? Her picks up a rock, cracks the rock. She's like, I just crushed the eternal side of this rock. Your point? She cuts open the rock. And as you see, like you see a completely spear rock, but the insides are smushed. And Deku's like, your point? Imagine if this was your body and your internal is your organs. So what, you think you could just instant shot me and I don't have a safety measure for this? Probably not. I could just wreck the whole building. Then why would I want to bring a dead mic? Well, if you're being earnest about what you said, it doesn't matter, right? Deku starts to waver unconscious. Him realizing he don't got much time. So they would okay, attempt 3. They would continue to argue for a little bit longer, but Deku's like, fuck, I don't got time for this. His body is actually very tired. He just got done fighting one of the 2 strongest people in the world right now, and his body's kinda short-circuited. Not like in the robot sense, but in just like the mental sense. He was literally put to near-death situation, and now he's dealing with this bullshit female. Like, goddamn. He doesn't have time to argue with her. But also note that I don't know if I said this in the last part, or if I said it at all, but basically, prior, he did try to escape, but he eventually gave her a device or whatever. And Deku tries to get away, but Uraraka's like, come on, let me come with you. He's like, where I'm going, it's pretty dangerous. He's doing everything in his power. And Bakugo could hear this. He's like, hey, don't leave me out. And basically, they're like, we got a whole week off of school. We might as well take this time. Which I'd probably say it's like 2 days short of a week, but I digress. Anyways, they pop through. He screams out a code. Boop, boop, beep, beep, beep. Portal opens up. And then you see a whole bunch of twice. Boss, is that you? Boss, it's you! Come in, my friend. And all these twice grabbed him. Who are you? Are you enemies? Deku fadedly, fuck it, let him come through. Alright, if the boss says you're okay, we trust you. Right, guys? No, yes, no, They all grab those niggas and then they dip out. Deku, exhausted as hell. Fuck. Toga! Where are you? I need blood. Toga pops out of the fucking shadows. Did you say blood? Deku-chan? Like she's on that shit, bro. And he's like, come on. I know I put healing aspects in your blood. He bites his lip. I mean, he don't bite his lip. I say he bite his tongue, lip. It doesn't matter what he bites, okay? And then Toga does something similar. She's like, this is my favorite part. You know how she does that crazy voice. And so she does that, and then they just start dummy kissing, bro. And everyone's like, Bakugo, Uraraka, like, oh my goodness. What type of shit is this? And then Deku, you can see his wounds visibly disappear. And then he's like, he spits out and like starts cauterizing or heating up his mouth to seal his wound. God damn, that hurts. I don't know how Eren Yang bites his fucking hand. That shit hurt. And so we would pretty much leave it off right here. So we pretty much left off with Bakugo. Well, hold up. Part 12 to what if Deku was a villain. There we go. So we pretty much left off with Bakugo and Uraraka saying, fuck it, let's see. If you're really not as bad as you say you are, let's see. So what would basically happen is after Deku does the little bit of healing, he would basically stand out and everybody would watch in amazement. Because I've seen this happen after the fight with Stain and a couple of other minor incidents that aren't really worth going over. And Deku says, this is my favorite part right here. And then boosh, a mass amount of power and energy is felt. Not really, like, no one can sense energy, unlike Deku. And he's like, what all this new, and like he's screaming as he says this, though. I'm not screaming right now. And so he's basically like, with all this new energy, no data, all this new power, it's exhilarating. I get to freely feel it. This is what All Might and All for One feel. This is their might. He keeps powering up more, and the building actually begins to start to shake. And they're like, there's gonna be a point in time when he gets too strong and he won't be able to do this. And Dabi's over there, like right behind, or maybe twice. It doesn't matter who, but I think Dabi. Todoroki comes through, like, what is going on? Shinzu pulls up and's like, oh, he's back at it again, I see. Yep. Todoroki's confused. He's like, wait, I haven't seen this. Oh, wait, I did see it. After he got done with that fight with that one dude. Stain, was it? Yeah. He's going crazy. Give it a minute. He'll be over with it momentarily. Finally! All this power is exhilarating! I can achieve godhood easily! This is amazing! Ha! With all this new data, no one can stop me. I'll be invincible! And reality steps back in as he comes down. I still need to be stronger than this. Plus, as he's, rotating one of his arms, popping it a little bit, I probably should go back to training, though. Can't get too caught up on the data information overflux. Whew. Sorry about that, guys. Everybody starts clapping. He's like, oh, yeah, I forgot y'all made this into a spectacle. And Deku basically begins, calming down and, whew. All right. He calls up the Twice community, and he's like, all right, boys. I'm going to be out of commission for a while. Toga, you're not in charge. Wait. Oh, he looks at Dabi. Oh, yeah, I forgot. She's out like a night. Light, something like that. Dabi looks annoyed slightly. Huh. Anyways, Dabi, you probably should be more acquainted with your brother, especially when I'm almost done building your upgrades. He's like, for real? Oh, I can't wait. And oh, by the way, momentarily, maybe not today, but in a short amount of time, I will go pay the number 2 hero a visit, as he says this with a sinister grin on his face, after having that brutal near-death experience with One For All and All Might, as he smiles even more sinister than he did previously. I think I'd have collected more than enough data, but I also want to see how hot his flames burn, as he flares up his ki, but not in a sense to flex, but more in a maniacal, sinister sense. But I digress for right now. I need rest. And Dabi, don't burn them. As Dabi puts his flames out. And Toga, as he looks at Dabi once more. Oh yeah, I forgot. He calls up Twice. The real Twice. Yeah, Twice. Make sure Toga's okay. And he's like, aye, Captain. He's like, wait, are you a real one or are you a copy? I'm a real one. The road Twice pulls up. Stop lying on my name! He's like, that's what I thought. He one-shots him. We don't allow fakes here. And then Deku leaves, and everyone, basically Bakugo and Uraraka, like if this was a video game, you would basically be able to play as Bakugo and Uraraka and just like walk around like Deku's base and just kind of see like how people think him. Like, he was like, a lot of them were like anomalies with their quirks and look kind of funny. And he's like, and you would get a lot of people saying like, thanks to Deku, I mean, I actually have a place to live. Like, I actually have a place that accepts me for who I am. I actually have a place that understands me, that this, it's like all these positive things, and you would have to do so many of these before the mission is complete. And then, they would basically be like, and Stain would pull up with a menacing order, and Bakugo Uraraka would be like, what the hell? Do we have more heroes? Let me get a good look. As Stain looks around, looking at Bakugo and looking at Uraraka. Interesting. You have the same look in your eyes as All Might. Bakugo, tensing up ever so slightly as hearing the name. Uraraka, slightly confused. This'll do. This'll do, finally. Follow me. And then they basically go to a training room. As Stain turns around. Welcome. This is gonna be, how would you say, an improvised internship. I don't know if you've done that in your school yet, but we'll keep this a secret. I don't think Deku would mind. As he looks like his lips are blade or something. Simply put, my quirk is known as Blood Curdle. It allows me to paralyze anyone of their blood. And then he would explain how his whole quirk works. Tell me how your quirks work. Deku, well, I can shoot massive explosions from the palm of my hand, but overuse and my bones start to ache, or his bones start to ache a little bit. Uraraka, originally I was able to make things flow with my hands, but as she flares up and like almost like she powers up, reminiscing, and she's like, I'm able to Oh, I'm able to alter and move gravity, but with only a certain length of wrench. But I can't do it for too long, so I mainly typically refer to this as more of a final form than something I can use willy-nilly. That Stain looks intensely while still slunched over. Interesting. I know the perfect way to train you. Hey, what was your name? Bakugo, was it? Follow me. Hey, round face over there. You stay there. I'll teach you personally. So, Bakugo takes, Stain takes Bakugo over to that one dude that was really good with the hands. We seen him in the overhaul arc. I forgot what his name was, but he's really good with punching. He takes him over there, and he's like, throw hands with this individual. Don't use your quirk once you beat him, and we'll just make a character that won't have relevance for much longer. It'll be somebody that can able to harden their body to, like, not diamonds, but something that's really hard. Pause. And he was like, if you can break your bones off bit by bit and rebuild them stronger, you'll be amazing. These people have healing quirks at different capacity. One can heal your mind, one can heal your soul, and one can heal your body. Don't ask me if a soul is real or not. I don't want to talk about it. You do this in the short time that you spend here, you'll be incredibly more stronger. And if you learn how to heat up your body, you'll be an animal, even in the cold weather, presuming that's one of your weaknesses. Stain walks off, and Bakugo looks at him, and he's like, I'll take you out. And he takes a stance with his quirk, and he's like, He takes like a different fighting style, reminiscent to how Deku posts up. And then Stain goes back over to Uraraka, and he's like, So let me see, how long can you last in that final form, as you called it? And Uraraka's like, I never really clocked it, but if I had to guess, I would think it'd be about 6 minutes or so. And he's like, inefficient. And in a drawn-out battle, you don't want to rely on your strongest thing off rip, but at the same time, you don't want to have such a hindrance on your strongest thing. So you would only have two options. Make your final form last longer, or be better. Or be simply better in the meantime. Basically, what I was trying to say, which it's kind of hard to say in that Stain voice or imitation, is simply put, he would basically be saying either you would increase your base form, or you make it to where your final form is your base form, or your final form lasts longer. So, Stain's like, we're not going to do either one. We're going to do both. We'll spend most of this day and the next making sure you have some incredible physical powers, and then we'll work on you concentrating your physical might. No, it's more about your mental. Let's begin. And don't worry, I'll go easy on you. I won't even use my sharpest blades. If you died, then you was never worthy of being a true hero. And then the knife would get thrown at Uraraka, and that's when the screen would fade to black, and then we would emerge into Deku's room, or one of his quarters. I'll just say it's his main quarter. It's a pretty small, compact place. And he's just sitting there meditating. He's asleep, but he's meditating to let his body and mind rest simultaneously, while staying conscious, as he's constantly replaying the fight over in his head, subconsciously and /consciously, and also working on his ki control, which I would believe he would have after discovering something a while back. And so he would work on that, and because in theory, your boy Deku never gets tired. But he can get tired, but he never inherently gets like exhausted, if that makes any sense. He has similar design to an android, but I'm not gonna say to the same extent. He has higher stamina reserves. Anyways, so he would go back and he would begin to meditate and cultivate his energy. And he would think what to do next. There's the overhaul issue. Or I think you would say Zakia or Zami, whatever the mob is called for that shit. I don't know how to say it, but we'll just say overall. There's the Liberation Army. What to do. Problems. Wait. If I go on the news, yes. If I attack the number 2 hero, already with my name out of there. Yes, I might need to put some flame. I might need to make my mask flame resistant, because him himself is not worried about the flames, but his mask might be a different story. So he's like, yes, that's what I'll do. I'll talk about how quirks should be free, how quirks should be used. How bad of damage do I want to do to this hero? Interesting. I don't know yet. As he contemplates his thoughts, thinking, yes, that's what I'll do. As the last thing you see before this what if ends off is Deku's eyes glowing a sinister red. And you see his, no, I'd say it'd be a sinister greenish reddish tint. And you just see his smile protruding out like it's a creepypasta. Deku screams, but very quietly. That's how I'll destroy this. This is how it really begins. And that's where we'll leave this off. Part 12 of What If Deku Was a Villain. Alright. Now, if you're watching this and you're seeing my face, I probably did the same thing with a couple other videos because I need to go ahead and get them out and editing them, and then also editing the thumbnail into the video. It's not hard, but it's time consuming. But I digress. Part 13 of What If Deku Was a Villain, okay? So we got your boy, Deku, realizing what he needs to do after that perfect maniacal laugh that I pulled off somehow. Deku gets up, and this is also after about a day or two, which, fuck it. I'll say these niggas have 2 weeks, bro, because I want them to get a little more training in. So we're going to say they have 2 weeks, and if they don't, they missed a couple weeks of school. Who cares? I might throw that into the story later, but it's not going to be no major plot point. I just want them to get a little more stronger than a few days, because the power boost that I plan to give them, or how strong I plan to make them, I don't want it to just be out of the thin air, like, oh, they just got really good training. No. So they spend that first part of the week just getting started, getting used to the regime, and eventually they get a lot more used to it. And Uraraka and Bakugo don't really talk, they just pass each other and passing and then keep it moving like real soldiers do. So they do that shit, right? They really start getting jiggy with it when like around the ending of the week. Because we'll say Monday and Tuesday pass, and then we got that, extra week in canon because it was a week off after the USJ, I think it was. Deku goes out, bro. That nigga pops out of the shadows, and niggas are like, shit, boss back at it again. And they kind of understand their role and their position. Like, they'll still tease Deku and stuff, but it's more of a lightful thing than anything else. And only a few people do it, because it's not out of disrespect, and Deku understands that too. Also, Deku, I'm going to say his, fit is going to typically be how I have him in some of his thumbnails, where he has these, gloves, and he has these, dark green eyes with that, look. And he switches out from between of, either having a suit on or kind of like a lobe cap, what's the words I'm looking for, guys? Lab coat. There you go. My dyslexia was fighting me. Lab coat, and also wearing a suit. So right now he's wearing the lab coat, and let me say, it's that a supreme crispy white. You hear me? And so he basically walks out, and he's like, I'm that guy, simply put. And he knows what he's about to go do. He knows his number, and he tells Dabi, like, hey, bro, I don't need to destroy the heroes. I just need to make a statement to get somebody's attention. Anyway, so he does that, right? And now let's take into note, one, Deku's strong on his own right, all right? And everyone else is strong in their own right too, because Deku's modified them. Most of them, if not all of them. If some people have quirks that didn't coincide with their body properly, it's okay. Deku fixed that for their quirk to work with them. It's almost like how do I say this without getting demonetized? Transgender, how they kind of modify themselves to feel more comfortable in their bodies. It's like that, but with something you're born with. So you keep it, you're just trying to help it be better. Simply put, okay? And so with that being said, Deku goes out. And he's like, you won't be able to join me on this field trip, but don't worry. Oh, don't worry. Your time will come soonly. And oh yeah, measurements. He says with a deep, booming, commanding voice as twice pops out. Multiple twice pops out. Does measurements to the T, to the letter, no sweat, no beep about it. There's a little gag or a little joke there because as you know, Twice is doing the measurements and he goes down below the belt, he keeps extending it by a few inches, and Deku looks at him slightly menacing, but more of a playful menace, but serious, but not, and looks at him like I will one-shot you. Twice, okay. Toga looking on in slight excitement, and he's like, none of that. No, if I find out you do that, Toga, you're going in the torture chamber. Toga pouts a little bit. Anyways, Bakugo and Uraraka hear this in the distance. What the fuck is a torture chamber? As they're walking back with Stain. You'd rather not know, kids. Some things are better left unspoken. And I've killed my fair share of people. But, that place. To be fair, I think that kid's the most dangerous one out of all of us. And he would say something to the effect like, even though we have like murder sheets and all of this baloney, this and that, he would be like, yeah, that would be pushing the boundaries a little bit even for me. And so, with that being said, we would have it to where, Deku basically gets his drip ready, get his fit ready, looking icy, looking cold with it. And, you know, after his measurements, he tells them, bring out the 5 identical clones to Deku. Pops out, looking very different. 5 different emotions are being explained, but all of them are pretty much the same. And hold up, guys, I'm sorry, I heard something moving in the grass, and I kind of can't see what it was. I don't trust that shit. Anyways, so they all come out, but basically it's clones of Deku's. And he's like, well, y'all served y'all job perfectly. I'm pretty sure you did pretty well with the modifications. And they're like, yes. And he's like, excellent. Cool beans. Guess this is where we depart, huh? He's like, yeah. And they're basically like, go ahead, kill us. Grant us the permission or grant us the freedom of death. And Deku's like, that would be my pleasure. As he gets his hand ready, he puts his hand out. Well, first he cuffs it or balls it up, extends it, and then 4 tiny energy balls, or ki as we're calling it, would protrude from Deku's hand and then right next to their faces or really close to them. And then one's like, do it, kill them all. Well, yeah, one's like kill them all, and one's like change society for the better. Boom. And then a third one would be like, I believe in you because you are me. Goosh. The fourth one, show those bastards how it's really done, especially him. Boom. I can't believe it. I knew I was strong, but this is just impressive. He takes like a stance reminiscent to Bakugo, but show those lazy bastards what a real hero, what a real mind, what a real quirkless idiot could really do. Boosh. With that being said, all those preparations, new clones were made in their stead, but in a different area. And then as they about to fade off, well, he looks back at them and like, the next time we meet, y'all will die. And now, it's better than what you're going to have to go through, since we technically know what you're going to have to go through. We get to live for a little bit and die. You, on the other hand, have to keep living. I think that's more of a bigger punishment than anything. And Deku's like, well, that is true. Give them the grace they need, okay? And don't let, yeah, we know. Don't let Toga touch us. We know. As Deku sets off, and he basically flies up at incredible speeds. It would pan over to Mini in the air. He flies over, looks down on the ground, and he's like, interesting. As he just flies down, and then he's like, yep, this is where the number 2 hero's at. He walks in, and he begins the brawl. Not really a brawl. He just says, hey, And then, you know, a tall, muscular dude, we got to do it anime fashion, would look over at Deku and looks down. What, are you lost or something, kid? Sorry, buddy, but I'll give you approximately 3 seconds to step away from me before I knock you out and make you bedridden for 3 weeks exactly. What type of threat? You had your chance. Deku slightly flies up a little bit, but it's more like a kick, and then knocks him out and knocks him through a wall. And all these, you know, flame quirks or flame individuals start trying to attack Deku. But Deku, once with a mask, okay, it's a smile mask, as he proceeds to basically just start beating down on everyone, effortlessly, realistically. And then, you know, Endeavor's not here at the moment, so he basically takes down everything. And let's just say the second strongest person there next to Endeavor is fighting off Deku for a really long time, which it doesn't matter how their quirk is, but it's something like this. And then, long story short, Deku basically starts breaking down and building down on the building. And then, moments later, you can see the walls melting and poof, enter Endeavor. He's like, what's going on here? And Deku's like, nothing. But the fact that you've shown yourself means that the real fun can begin. And similar to how Obito's mask worked, it'll be something like that. I think it would be something where you can still kind of see his eyes a little bit, but you don't really see his eyes. And then you'd see a hint of green and red, and then that's where this part would end off. I hope y'all guys enjoyed. Take 2. What if Deku was a villain part 14? So we basically left this off right when Endeavor came through. Deku basically started talking shit, right? He's like, oh, you showed up. Now we can really get this party started. And just so you know, there's nobody in the area. And Endeavor starts talking shit back. You better start talking, kid. But wait, hold up. Todoroki. You better talking, kid. Because just because you're a kid doesn't mean I'll hold back on you. Are you the one that hurt all these people here? And then Deku starts talking, and, you know, Endeavor's like, answer me. Are you the one that hurt? It's crazy. Because it's really interesting how you want to get all big and high and mighty. And Deku starts powering up. And starts getting angry. Not for Todoroki, but for Dabi. And he's like, no. He wouldn't get angry for Dabi. What do you... Yeah. He might get angry for Dabi. He'd get angry for Dabi and Todoroki for the put through. And simply put, you know, he's just like, you are a monster and you need to be put down like a dog. And so basically just start like talking shit. So tell me, do you think it was right the way you treated your child? Do you think that was okay? And then they would have that discussion on and on, back and forth. Sorry about the pause there, guys. I'm in the middle of a walk. So basically what I was trying to say was Deku would basically talk about the abuse that he put Todoroki through and the abuse that he put Dabi through. And then, you know, he would briefly just be like, do you think that was right? Don't get me wrong. You might have should have explained it to Shoto. What you were really... You probably were just trying to protect him so he didn't end up with like his brother as he teleports. But tell me, what right do you have to create something single purpose? Boom! Just so you can surpass all. Boom! Indirectly! What type of monster does that? As he does this, hits him with a kick. Boom! You are an idiot! You never considered your own villains. And as this fight commences, and Deku's just giving him an ear, right? Just dogging on him, but not like deviously. After they, you know, fight for a little bit, you know, Endeavor's not fighting back. He's just not fighting back at max. But I have enough talking to do. Let's see how strong the number 2 hero is. And then you already know your boy's gonna be talking shit. Alright, so you already know Endeavor's gonna be talking shit, right? He's gonna be like, what? Just because you were able to go toe-to-toe with All Might, and the fact that you were able to go toe-to-toe with that unknown assailant, you think you can challenge me? Do you really? As he like starts flaring up his flames and stuff, making it look like he's the personification of fire and stuff like that. And Deku would be like, of course I would. as he does like this really cheeky smile. Of course, why wouldn't I be able to take someone down that's weaker than All Might? And then that's it. You can visibly see Endeavor, like, he loses all self-control and all rational. And he just starts wailing on Deku something devious. And by this point, it is broadcasting, okay? Now, this is going to make wonderful sense on how bad this is, right? So, he basically just blows up. Like, he makes Bakugo anger outbursts looks like a kid throwing a, tantrum, okay? So he just, boom, how dare you say that? You will pay for everything you did. And then, Deku starts getting dogged on deviously, right? Boo, 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 boo. And I mean flames everywhere. Boom, boom. He's just getting hit with like these onslaughts of like flame punches, flame kicks, flame axe hands. Boom, 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 boo, 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 boo. It started getting harder and faster. Pause. And it just starts getting like this unholy assault of fists and kicks and punches. And it just keeps getting hotter and hotter and hotter until Endeavor cocks back both of his hands. And I have to name up a move, but I'll just say he says something like, concentrated, burn, boom. And then for a brief moment, you see blue flames appear. Boom. And then you just see like a husk where Deku was. It's like, you won't be able to talk all that shit now, brat. As Endeavor is shocked as he turns around. Oh, Endeavor, you just sold yourself. If you were able to pay attention and realize why I did this, you would realize that there's nobody in, danger reach from your rage. Also, that there's been news people here this whole time. Endeavor, what would that have to do? As Deku's partially regenerating? Think about it, dummy. You went all out against a brat, a kid, someone that's you're weaker. How do you think that's really gonna look? And then on top of that, you lost? Oh, sweet God. I'm gonna have to thank Tolga for her blood. As he takes a couple of bites of these like weird red beads, and all you hear is crunch, crunch, and you see his wounds healing. Oh, yes! As Deku flares his ki and his hair goes up a little bit, but with his clothes visibly burnt. Like, as I said, he's got that, like, slab coat kind of deal on. And you can see, like, his legs, where his leg is at, like, left leg is kind of burnt. And, like, one of his sleeves are, like, partially burnt. But Deku just looks at Endeavor and just shakes his head and be like, this next part is fun. I do want y'all to note that Deku didn't really get a data boost, which is basically like a Zenkai but slightly different, but I'll explain that later if need be. But it's more of the fact that he just wanted to see this happen. So, and he didn't get fully healed neither. And on top of this, he is still not fully healed from his fight with All Might. But that will be future point later. So Deku takes his stance. And he's like, hey, let's go for round 2. And he's like, huh. Basically, then this is where another fight begins, right? They start throwing some good hands. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, cool. Boom. And then if it was animated, you would see it how he's doing stuff similar to how he did when he was fighting All Might, or All Might and All for One, but it's slightly adjusted. Ooh, he's hitting like these big hits on Endeavor. Boo, boo, boo. Pew, 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 beak, 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 boom, boom, boom. Hit him with a drop kick right in his solar plexus. Boom, gets back up. Boom, hit him with a right kick. 3 kicks to the noggin. Boom, axe kick. Boom, turn around, hit him with a spin elbow. Like Deku's hitting with all these big body DV ass combos, my nigga. Endeavor don't know what to do, bro. He getting shook. There's no way this nigga got hands like this. He's like, and Endeavor's like, all right, it's enough playing around. I'll take this seriously now. As in Deku just, for some reason he snaps and he's like, oh, you must have gotten it mistaken. As he snaps and he says, you're not the one playing with anyone. As he literally pulls up on Endeavor, looking this nigga down, bro, like he's some type of bitch, right? Looking at this nigga, staring at him. And like he's looking over this nigga with like a smile mask on. And he's like, you're not the one playing with anyone. I'll thrash you. And then this is where Deku just starts dogging on Endeavor, bro. I mean, just straight beating down this nigga, bro. Pause for what this is about to say because it's sus as fuck. But just start beating this nigga cheeks in recklessly, bro. Just beat, boom, 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 boom. All this shit that nigga was trying to hit him with, he's doing it but 2 times harder, bro. This nigga arms are getting broken, bro. This nigga's getting like just mutilated, bro. He's just getting fucked, bro, in like the worst type of sense possible. This nigga is getting killed, bro. Deku's just having fun at this point. It's worse than what he did to Todoroki in the other part, bro. What was it? Then like part of 8 or 7, I think it was, bro. It's worse than that, bro. He made that look like paradise, bro. He just started hitting this nigga with all these like heavy ass, strong ass moves, bro. He you need to learn your place. Boom, you are an insect to me. He just started talking shit. Boom, tell me, did you really like what you did? Boom, you drove your kids to villainy. Boom, 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 boom. And like as he's punching Endeavor, he starts punching Endeavor upwards, like, but he's like aiming it down. So he starts punching Endeavor upwards, bro, on some like Rock Lee Kikigara upflow. Boom, 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 boom. And then he starts punching him one way, and like all you see is his arms and Endeavor just over there. It's similar to how like Natsu was fighting Gajio and how he was dogging on that nigga. This is what that shit started to look like. He's like, you're fucking stupid. You did all this training for what? You're still weaker than all my. Now he hit him with some kicks. Your kids don't even love you. You think one of them is dead. And your prosperous, that shit is gone. Boom. Look at you. Boom, 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 as he hits the ground. Endeavor battered and brutal and beat it. Deku was screaming, but it's kind of hard to hear someone speak when you literally are hearing bones get cracked and tissue getting violated, all right? Pause for all y'all niggas out there. So, let's see where I'm at. I'm at about 10 minutes. All right, so basically, that shit happened, right? Endeavor just got fucked up, okay? And he's on the ground, just he's still able to stand. Deku just walking over to him, and then Endeavor pulls out all the stops, blasts at him with maximum fire, all at his feet, headbutts Deku. Deku just grabs, well, no, what he does is he blocks it with his forearm, right? Boom. Takes a stance like he's about to counter, and then in this brief moment, Endeavor just shoots over Deku's head. Boom, knees in the back, and then starts hitting him with a couple of combos, and then like how Goku did Raditz, grabs that nigga in a full Nelson. He's like, he's not as malicious as this. It would probably be more like, you are getting way too cocky, kid. You might be strong, but you're still green behind the ears. I was just waiting for an opportunity. Even though he's bluffing, but Deku just let him have it. He's like, I was just waiting for an opportunity. I was saving this for, I was saving this for All Might. But I guess I'll use it for you. He starts like blowing up, right? And not blowing up, but all you hear is prolific burn. I think that's his ultimate move. And he's like, as you said, there's no one in this area. So that means no one's gonna die but you. He's like, I'm gonna show you the true power of a hero. No, I think he would say number 2 hero. And then basically the prolific burn would happen. So, boosh. I don't know what that last part was. And like it's just like this massive explosion, almost reminiscent to how Sasuke almost died to that nigga it is an explosion nigga, but like a lot bigger or worse than what it was in, you know, canon. Like it's big body. Like damn, the media almost was confused. Like the camera crew that was, you know, filming this shit was like, what the fuck? And then as like the dust settles and Endeavor's just standing up, you know, he looks normal now because he don't have flames. And Deku on the ground, well, you see his like lab coat burnt, and you know his whole crew shook. Bakugo, Todoroki, it's almost like it's in reverse how it was in canon, but like Endeavor's the Nomu. And you just see Deku crip walking on this nigga on some Sasuke versus Danzo flow right behind him. Like damn, that was pretty cool. Huh? And Endeavor turns around with that same energy like, what? How is he still standing? And then Endeavor tries to run away and Deku's like, oh, my boy. Let's see here. He pulls up and he jumps, but he's already behind Endeavor. So he jumps. He cocks back his right arm as he's holding his elbow. And I mean, with the most intensity that I can describe through words without a visual representation, he literally just jumps in front of Endeavor, but like from behind as he's in midair and swats at this nigga. But not any type of swat. I mean, he hits him with his elbow first, and then as his elbow is fully extending, he basically cocks back, hit him with his forearm, and then proceeds to cock back further, and then just hits this nigga with one of those get off me, but with his backhand balled up. And just, I mean, and this all happens almost simultaneously, okay? And so Endeavor, as all of this is happening, all Deku says is one: you'll never be good as All Might. Boom. You did all that work to make a perfect prodigy that will surpass All Might, and look at you, all alone and lifeless, right into the solar plex, down to the ground. You had a kid that was stronger than you, but you didn't let him train because he was hurting himself. But if you taught him how to train, maybe find him some support items, maybe you could have made it better. You want to know something? A random person you don't know. And he explains Bakugo's origin story real quick. He was my childhood bully, but we'll talk about that later. But no one else can really hear it. They just see that Deku's all over Endeavor. And he's like, he had a kid, and guess what? That kid had the perfect representation of the, you know, their quirks. Of the mother and mom. They're talking about Deku's talking about Bakugo's parents, and mainly talking about the dad and how he had a perfect kid. So it's almost like he's living your dream without you even knowing it, as Deku steps on him. And I want you to know something. As like Deku starts to like no, he would look at Endeavor and just say, you're worthless as an individual. You may be strong as a hero, but I want you to know something. Anyone that threatens my family will suffer. But don't worry, you'll suffer far more than what I'm doing to you. This is only a taste of what's to come. As Endeavor basically lets Deku walk away, Endeavor gets up. He's like, do you really think I'm gonna let you escape? Deku, with like literally nanoseconds, time stops. Everything is slowed down. All you hear is classical music playing through for a brief moment. You swear this time has slowed down. Deku turns around with his right hand and slices Endeavor in his, I want to say right eye, similar to what happened in canon. And then slices that eye. It's basically how the Nomu did it, but worse. Not worse, but just same thing. And then as this still is all happening within like less than like 2 seconds, Deku turns around, barely kicks him, hits him in the chin, turns back around and walks a little bit further before time happens, and then Endeavor hits air, realizes his eye's been cut, realizes he can't move his legs, and he's down on the ground. Deku flies up to the helicopter and looks at it. This world is a hypocrite. One could use their quirk and it'll be okay because they're a hero. But if another person uses the quirk without the license, they'll consider the villain. If I tried to help someone, this would be a flashback to the sludge villain. If I tried to help somebody while they're in danger, while they need help, without the license, I would be considered a villain and scolded for doing something so reckless. But I should probably let that person die instead, don't you think? I think we should be more liberated. And right now, as in the present moment, at the time of this being recorded, I'll be considered a traitor, or a traitor, a terrorist, a villain, if you may, a vigilante, if you may, whatever you want to call it. But in the near future, this will be seen as brave, heroic justice. It's all about the POV, because no one's voting for the villain unless the villain wins, and no one cares about the hero unless the hero wins. So, this is a message to all of you individuals. He might name drop a couple people, I digress. If you want a place to be yourself, use your quirks, be you, cool. Simply put, yes, there will be times that we kill, and I do have certain missions that may require some blood. As he would say this, he would think of Toga. I know she got excited hearing that. But you could be yourself here, regardless if you look like a villain or have a villainous quirk. Any and everyone is accepted here. Quirks are not something that should be feared, but at the same time, we can't just rely on one person to be the peace or be the darkness, because at any point in time that one person can die. All for one and all might. This is a This is a declaration of war. Simply put, by the time we meet again, you'll be begging for me to be your successors, and you know what I mean. But until then, just remember, always smile. And then Deku would point to his mask. And oh, by the way, if any of you heroes or wannabe heroes try to act like you're an ally of mine and turn out to be a traitor, Deku releases so much killing intent that it actually leaps through the TV to wherever it's being broadcast. Simply put, I'll have you wishing you never existed. Goodbye. And basically he would make it look like he killed the camera crew, but in retrospect all he did was shoot the camera, and the camera crew dude would be looking at his hands like, damn, that's crazy. And the plane got destroyed, but he would he would walk them down to the ground, or fly them down to the ground, and then we'd ask them, like, in a very kind, calming manner too. So hey guys, are y'all okay? Y'all good? Okay, sorry about that. As Deku begins to walk off, and they're like, sir? He's like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, could I possibly join your crew or your league of villains? And as before he could utter the words, we're known as Smile, good sir. And Deku's mask is broken at this point. It eventually just couldn't take no more heat. He's like, it's called Smile. Would you like to join? He's like, yes, please. I have my family. He's like, no, your family's no more now. If you join, they will not exist too. Simply put, any financial issues you did have prior will be resolved. Just, give me help and I finish helping you. And with this, he's like, yes, please. Alright, simple. I'm gonna need something from you. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon. And he tells the other camera woman or somebody the same snitch. And he's like, alright, very well then. We'll meet very soon. Just remember, as Deku turns around as the camera begins to fade out black, as you only can see one eye that's glowing predominantly red but with a hint of green, like Christmas, he says, I kill traitors. Keep that in mind.